Boar's Head is bringing a slice of Japan to the deli. Introducing Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. Tender, slow-roasted chicken breast, coated in our signature teriyaki glaze, where ginger, garlic, and a hint of brown sugar meet for a flavor that's both sweet and savory. New Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. The bold flavor of Japan. Now at the deli. Only from Boar's Head. Compromise elsewhere.
Blog Talk Radio.
Here we go. Blast off.
This is True Capitalist Radio. True Capitalist Radio.
I am your host, the man they call Ghost.
The badass of business.
Give him capitalism or give him death.
That's it. Period.
Broadcasting from his Skyline office studios in beautiful downtown Austin, Texas.
You sound fruitier than a box of Fruit Loops, for Christ's sake.
And now, he'll take it from here. Your host, the prognosticator of prognosticators, the man they call Ghost.
What's going on, folks? Hey, thank you for tuning in with me to another edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank you for tuning in with me. This is episode number 253 for all the folks that are keeping track of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, if you haven't already done so, folks, please go ahead and follow me on Twitter. The Twitter name to follow is Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores, folks. Politics Ghost. And, once again, bookmark the official website of the True Capitalist Radio Show. It is blogtalkradio.com/ghost. That's blogtalkradio.com/ghost, folks. And before we move on to anything else, I'd like for everybody to please retweet the broadcast, go spread it around the social networks, the forum post, spread it around like wildfire, and let everybody know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. We got all kinds of buttons right next to the player, right in front of you. Go ahead and use and abuse those buttons, baby, all right? Let everybody know that we're in effect and in the house, baby. I mean, let me tell you, we're getting big numbers out here on the internets for podcasts, folks. I'm telling you, it's because of you. We're going to keep things going, and that's why I completely plead with you, even if it's as little as reposting this particular broadcast on your Facebook, on your Twitter account, whatever it takes. Let everybody know, okay, because this is serious business. Anyway, folks, the Trump train steams full steam ahead, folks. I'm excited. I don't know what Ted Cruz is trying to do with the charade with Carly Fiorina or whatever her name is, for Christ's sake. And, of course, that whole little super PAC donation, you know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know if you folks have been aware of this. We talked about this back in March, for Christ's sake. I mean, you know, there was a weird transfer of $500,000 between these two campaigns, and it's no coinkydink that they're now joining forces in this ridiculous charade of a campaign. I don't even know what he's doing. Anybody at this point that is still voting for Ted Cruz is just a complete pompous jerk-off that could care less about America, freedom, or the right to vote at this point in time. I'm serious. I mean, if you're still, thinking that the goddamn GOP can concoct some kind of ridiculous cockamamie idea to try to steal the nomination from Trump at this point, I mean, that is just ridiculous. That's pathetic, and it's totalitarian. And that's why, and let me tell all you dumb delegates out there that think that you're going to, try to maneuver some sort of ruling, some sort of rules committee, new rule type of situation at the convention, folks. We are going to converge, and I've been saying this time and time again, all right? Roger Stone has already got the permit for the Trump train to converge on Cleveland And this is during the time of the GOP convention, for Christ's sake, so we could be outside just in case these damn delegates try to do some totalitarian tactics. They could hear us screaming outside saying, "Don't you dare, boy. Don't you dare." And as I've said, folks, Roger Stone has the itinerary of these goddamn delegates that are going to plan to go against the people's will, because let me tell you, the voters have spoken at this point in time. What the GOP is still doing, what Ted Cruz and John Kasich is still doing is beyond me. It's against everything that what we all understood of America as. It goes against it. They're spitting on our troops. They're spitting on freedom, and it makes me disgustingly ill to my stomach at this point. I mean, I'm serious. It's pathetic. It's pathetic what these guys are doing and the GOP are doing. But anyway, I don't want to get too much onto that. Everybody knows my feelings on that. And at this point, there should be no debate about this. Trump is the nominee, jerk-offs, all right? Stop it, Priebus. All right? Stop it, Hoagland. All right? All you other damn, freaky little fruity-ass little totalitarian delegates and rules committee members and all you dumb jerk-off GOP idiots. Stop it or else, all right? I mean, you're going to have you're going to have a serious problem. Let's just put it that way, all right? To use Donald Trump's words. I mean, if you're going to go against the people's vote, and look at all the millions of people that have voted for this man at this point in time, for Christ's sake. I mean, good God. I mean, what else do you need, you dumb GOP totalitarian jerk dicks? And excuse my French, folks, but sometimes it just gets to me that these people can just be so arrogant, and laugh, for Christ's sake. You know what I'm saying? I mean, why did we send troops to die at war? When they were supposed to be preserving the American ways, preserving freedom, when we never had it. I mean, all right. Anyway, folks, I want to get right into the nitty-gritty because this is True Capitalist Radio. I have been saying, folks, that the economic footing of this particular economy of ours is not good, never was. A bunch of fixed numbers, a collusion between government and Wall Street, a collusion between the CME, which is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which is where we trade commodities out here. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of just collusion between the government authorities and this supposed financial system that got bailed out when Barack Obama came into power here. And not to mention, it was a democratically dominated Congress, too. So, for all these jerk dicks and these morons that want to rewrite history, the Democrats had complete and total control of the government, and the first thing they did was bail out Wall Street, all right? So let's not, pussyfoot around and mumble and stumble like a bunch of incompetent jerks as it relates to history, all right? But anyway, all this collusion is finally coming to a header, for Christ's sake, and the numbers are not lying. I'm glad that Donald Trump is reiterating the point that the unemployment number that they claim is, 5%, which is supposedly close to the number of full employment as defined by economics classes 101 across the country, for Christ's sake. That number is completely rigged because, as Donald Trump has said time and time again, this government counts those that just completely stop looking for jobs altogether. They go out in the workforce, they try to find a job, and, they got mommy to live on, because let me tell you, folks, the baby boomers have 80% of the wealth in America, okay? So if you're wondering why mommy and daddy, if you're living off mommy and daddy while you have no opportunity, you went out to, get a college degree and you got all this goddamn college debt, and yet mommy and daddy have all these assets, for Christ's sake, that's not by accident, all right? But I don't want to get into that debate at this point in time, all right? I'm just simply stating that what Donald Trump is stating is the true number of unemployment in America today is around 25+%. And then, of course, that's just a guesstimation because a lot of the people that have stopped looking for work are now counted as employed. You understand this? So this is what this means, all right? If somebody either gets out of college or somebody that doesn't go to college, they're living off mommy, granny, daddy, somebody, sister, so they're living off somebody. They go out, they try to look for a job, they can't find one, they just don't even bother, because they're taking care of somebody's kids or, they've acquired another way or another means of trying to sustain themselves. without necessarily having to go out and, assert themselves on a labor-type basis. These people are counted as employed. I'm telling you, if they're not collecting off the dole, if they're not collecting food stamps, if they're not collecting welfare, if they're just like existing, but they're unemployed, but they're not collecting unemployment insurance. I mean, if they're not collecting the goddamn thing, they're employed as far as our government statistics are concerned. Do you understand this? And that's why Donald Trump has alluded to this time and time again. So individuals that are sitting back, that haven't found a job, that can't find one, just stop looking for one, living off mommy, granny, daddy, whoever. Our government considers them employed. That's why that stupid number of 5% is pushed by our government. And what's sad about this is our sociopathic liberal government, our executive branch, Barack Obama, can go out to the American people and smirk with a shit-eating grin on his face and say, this is a great economy. I've officially turned around the economy. Well, it's not turned around, folks, okay? Numbers don't lie, all right? Damn articles are coming out today. Business investment worst since the Great Recession. Well, no kidding, all right? I'm a business owner, for Christ's sake. I sure as hell ain't investing in the expansion of any of my brick-mortar businesses, that's for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, you have to find and maneuver growth as a capitalist so that you can continue to sustain your life, if not get it better, even in the worst of times. I mean, that's what a capitalist does. I mean, you just can't stop thinking. I mean, that's what people don't understand. When you have the freedom to do whatever you want, everybody's going to, mimic what you're doing. And the thing about being a capitalist until you die is the ability to maneuver, is the ability to learn, the ability to think on your feet, the ability to understand that, whatever has made you money up to this point, once you start seeing a retraction in that particular income, you better start looking towards another stream of income or diversifying. I mean, as a capitalist, there's so many things that you have to do to maneuver things because markets change, conditions change, the consumer mindset change, the credit markets change, the labor markets change, the governments change. And as a capitalist, you have to be able to maneuver around all this stuff so that you can continue to accumulate some level of income that even if it's a small percentage growth on an annual basis, even if it's the most smallest, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these corporations, they expect to have, 10, 20% annual growth on a consistent basis for 20 years or some crap like that. I mean, realistically, that's not necessarily the case. And we talked about this yesterday, folks. The whole reason why corporations can have these kinds of sustaining type of percentage growth on a consistent on a consistent basis is because they're protected by government monopolies, all right? They get special tax breaks, all right? They get, no-bid contracts, all right? I mean, this is why you have corporations that have merged with government, that are doing business with government, that corrupt the concept or the interpretation of how others see capitalism. Let me tell you, Walmart, GE, GM, these big corporations that are merged with government, all right? I mean, I think even Bernie Sanders alluded to Walmart being merged with government, how they get, special tax breaks, they get special contracts, they get special money from the government, so on and so forth. I mean, you understand that this is what sustains monopolies. If we had pure capitalism, we wouldn't have monopolies, all right? If the goddamn corporations did not merge with government, we would not have monopolies. Now, how did this happen, folks? Everybody was asleep at the wheel. Do you understand this, right? I mean, our forefathers gave us a document, the Constitution. But the part that most Americans fell asleep on is participating in the political process, all right? Now, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of it is not your fault, all right? I mean, look at this disgusting, filthy public education system that corrupted your minds, for Christ's sake, dumbed you down. I mean, all one has to do is observe the level of entertainment, the level of what people are finding is entertaining to show the absolute throwback in human evolution, for a lack of a better term, that we are turning into at this point in time. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, I'm not joking, folks. I mean, look at the movies. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, just unoriginal, regurgitated, the same actors, same freaking directors, the same crap. And, of course, people are running to it like lab rats running to a food pellet, for Christ's sake. Look at what they're trying to shove down our holes as it relates to music entertainment. I mean, it's disgusting. It's pathetic. It's lame. It's lack of creativity. It's dumbed down. And a contributing factor, of course, is the education system. That's why now, at this point in time, people are starting to become very aware of their political awareness, that they can participate in the government. And now that more and more people are participating in their government, you've got these parties all of a sudden showing their boiled, infested, totalitarian heads saying, whoa, wait a minute. Your vote never counted. And then you've got their stupid state-run media with their talking heads trying to suggest this to you as well, that, oh, wait a minute, you know, your vote never counted. Come on, you got to know that by now. Are you kidding me? Let me tell you something right now. This is an unprecedented situation that is happening in America today, and I am glad to be alive to witness it, and I hope that you are as well, folks, because let me tell you, this is our line in the sand, This is our line in the sand. If we don't stand up and if we don't go out and participate in masses so that they can't rig these elections, so that they can't attempt to do any kind of ridiculousness to rob Donald Trump of the rightful nomination of the GOP, then we're going to end up like the Bernie Sanders people, and we're going to talk about them in a little bit, folks. But the reason Donald Trump's candidacy is so important is because, once again, this economy, folks, this economy needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed quick, all right? And business investment at an all-time low, that means businesses in general. I didn't mean to get on the tirade about what I was talking about, but as a business owner, I am not diversifying or putting more money into my businesses. Meaning I don't want to build another business. I don't want to add another employee. I don't want to add other product expansions or service expansions in some cases. I don't want to do this because there is no incentive for me to do so. I'm looking at the goddamn economy itself, folks. Everybody and their brother can tell that everybody's, you know, either they're hoarding their money, which I doubt is happening in America today, or they literally don't have any money to spend, and I believe it's the latter. All right? And when the consumer has less and less money to spend, folks, I mean, we're in serious trouble. All right? And that's exactly what's happening. That's why we need a president that understands the economic delicacy that is our current economy. All right? I mean, we need something that's going to give us a shot in the arm. And I'm telling you, we need jobs back in America, and we need them quick. Because once people have jobs instead of handouts, when people have economic opportunities instead of goddamn some bureaucrat telling them how much food they can have every month, what kind of house they can have, so on and so forth, then people start having pride and integrity. Then people want to start learning more. People want to be better. They want to do better. They want to have families. They want to have good times. They want to take trips. Do you understand this? We don't have this right now because this leftist government, folks, that unfortunately this country elected, all right, I mean, you know, everybody was, you know, so enamored with Barack Obama. Remember that? I was on the air, for Christ's sake. And everybody was so enamored, and look at what he did, for Christ's sake. I mean, you know, he was supposed to pay your mortgage, remember? He was supposed to pay your gasoline. Remember what those people were talking about when he was elected, for Christ's sake? They were crying with tears around their faces, for Christ's sake. Oh, I'm going to get my crapper. He's going to pay my electric bill, baby. He's going to do it all, baby. He didn't do diddly, for Christ's sake, all right? You know what he did? He gave Wall Street, all right? Wall Street all the money. I mean, literally, the banks, Wall Street, and moreover, folks, I hate to keep beating a goddamn dead horse, but read the stimulus package 2 bill and take a look at all the people that got money in that goddamn son of a bitch. Excuse my French, all right? I mean, all the people that got paid in there, you can correlate with campaign contributions that went into the DNC or Barack Obama's campaign for president itself, folks. I'm not joking. The pornographic industry got a goddamn bailout in the stimulus package 2 bill. Hollywood, the tech industry, GE, GM, all these people that have literally donated in the DNC and damn Barack Obama's freaking campaign contribution account. And you know what's unfortunate, folks, is that I've alluded to this several times in several shows that these politicians, all right, once they are no longer in the political field, all that money that they were donated to in that campaign contribution account, folks, and I know people don't believe me. Go look it up for yourself. You're on goddamn the internet, on Google. You can look this up, but let me tell you, once they're retired from public office, they can transfer whatever's in that damn campaign contribution account into their own personal name, their own personal bank account, tax-free. Tax-free. All right, so let's just, once again, I want to reiterate, Barack Obama raised about $800 million in his 2008 presidential campaign. All right? This 2012 presidential campaign, he set a record of over $1 billion raised. Now, do you mean to tell me that he blew all that money in campaigning and buying advertisements? Bull crap, excuse me, bull crap. And that's why I'm saying, folks, this is why our economy is so stagnant, is because we have a merging of government and private enterprise, corporations, our financial system. I mean, it's just pathetic. It's utterly pathetic. And look, the numbers don't lie. Business investment worse than since the Great Recession. Now, that's not very good, folks, because I remember the Great Recession. I remember when the credit freeze happened, all right? I mean, it took out a lot of small businesses. Now, let me explain what happened at that point in time for you folks that weren't in business and don't remember, all right? There's a lot of people out here that are small business owners that depend on credit. They depend on credit for a lot of things, whether they depend on credit for capital goods or for buying merchandise, for payroll. Believe it or not, people actually pay their employees off credit. They literally sign checks, via credit to pay their employees. I mean, I'm serious. That's really what took out a lot of the mom and pop shop, the small business owners back during the credit freeze, because what's going to happen if 2009, 2008, 2009 was any kind of an example, if the economic recession happens again, they are going to freeze credit. Okay, that means no one's going to be able to get credit, let alone use their credit cards anymore. I don't know if y'all remember, you couldn't use your credit. I mean, it was really this bad. I don't know if folks remember this, all right? I mean, it was so bad, we didn't even know if the savings accounts of people that had saved money for lifetimes in a savings account at some bank was still even going to be there. And in some instances, Lehman Brothers and a couple of other banks that literally went belly up, it wasn't. I mean, it went belly up, for Christ's sake, folks. So I'm telling you this right now. These numbers are not lying. I don't care what the government's trying to shove down our holes, that it's such a great economy and 5% unemployment. It's baloney, all right? I mean, this is literally 25, 30% unemployment, for heaven's sake. I read articles that 100 million people, I mean, and you can look this up. I mean, you Google, I mean, this is the internet's, 100 million people out of work in America today. This is serious business. This is why we need somebody that understands economics, and Donald Trump is the only man that understands this, all right? Now, let me explain something else that's a little fishy, not just fishy, but also concerning. Home ownership, all right, falls to the third lowest point on record. All right, and let me tell you, they are giving away home loans like they're going out of style, all right, because FHA, which is backed by HUD, of course, folks. I mean, if you aren't aware of the financial instrument that is government-backed called the FHA loan, well, then obviously you haven't, partaken in the whole scheme of real estate this time around. Anyway, folks, what's happening right now is we are seeing home ownership fall to its third lowest point on record. And this is, on record of documenting home ownership. Now, the reason this is bad is because, folks, these are the same precursors that happened before the damn 2009. I'm going to tell you exactly when it happened, when the whole, caca, for a lack of a better term, hit the damn fan. Anyway, what happened, man, was it was February 2009. It literally, I remember it as from 1 month to the next, it looked completely different. I mean, banks were closing down. Businesses were closing down. The stock market just tumbled. People didn't know what the hell was going to happen. They didn't know if their savings accounts and their banks were going to be even in the bank anymore. You had the credit freeze. I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening, and it's going to happen again. Now, another thing that happened was this whole debacle with the goddamn real estate. Now, I don't want to get into the whole rigmarole. It's a very complicated scheme of things on how and why the real estate bubble actually kind of was the big, huge domino that toppled the whole damn economy the last time. But it basically goes like this, all right? Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all right? I mean, the same crap, different plate. Now it's FHA. Back then it was Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, government-backed loans, all right? Actually, they were insured by the government, all right? And then, this was government enforced. Remember, Barney Frank, this leftist homosexual ran a call boy service out of his apartment while he was serving in Congress. This idiot was quoted as saying, if you have a pulse in America, you should have a house. And, they were the ones that pushed forth this initiative to force the financial institutions into giving people that were not qualified for homes, all right? And literally that's what this whole Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac garbage was about. I don't want to get into the technicalities of it, folks, because I could be here for hours. Anyway, the financial institutions knew that, hey, look, the majority of these loans that the government is forcing us to give people that we know are not going to pay these notes back in a 30-year basis, let's figure out a way to make money on them since the goddamn government is already backing us up, insuring the loan anyway. Let's start this new form of it was basically a game. It was basically a financial instrument game called derivative securities. All right, now the derivative securities market was not something that was privy to individual investors. It was only in between the financial institutions, these big, huge conglomerates like Lehman Brothers at the time that was still when it was still around, Goldman Sachs, Bear Stearns, all these big financial institutions had their own marketplace called derivative securities. Now, derivative securities were basically nothing more than these, government-backed insured loans that they were forced to give out to people that they knew were never going to pay these loans, all right? And packaged on those loans, of course, were, weird, fluctuating interest rates and subprime mortgage instruments that, let's be honest, the people that were signing their name on the dotted line didn't read. And now whose fault is that? I have no idea. But either way, all right, the banks knew that they weren't going to pay for these loans. So what they did is that this derivative securities market would place bets on these loans. Believe it or not, okay, these financial institutions would place bets on whether or not these loans were going to be paid on an annual basis, on an every 5-year basis. I'm not joking around. I mean, this is what they were doing, all right? This is, it's almost, it would be humorous if it wasn't so tragic, all right? They were placing bets on whether or not these loans that were high risk were even going to get paid or not. So that was the derivative securities market. Now, for some reason, AIG, which is an insurance company, which had no freaking business getting involved into any kind of financial markets to begin with, saw an opportunity to gather, these insurance scumbags, anyway, any means to gather a pool of money and, some kind of an insurance pool or something, they're salivating at that opportunity. Anyway, AIG, which had no business doing this, decided that since they had this derivative securities market amongst the financial institutions, because like I said, folks, you as an individual investor, you couldn't partake in the derivative securities market. This was purely amongst the big financial institutions. Well, on top of them betting on whether or not, and they were betting amongst each other. They were like, look, I bet you this particular home loan goes belly up in a year, 2 years, and the other financial institution's like, yeah, okay, we'll take that bet. Anyway, AIG comes along and decides to sell insurance on these goddamn derivative securities, all right? Yeah, I'm not kidding around. This is how stupid this whole crap was, and the whole reason was because the government was forcing the freaking financial institution to give out these loans to people that had no business having a home, and you see that's happening again today, right now in America, all right? So anyway, AIG decides to start selling insurance on these derivative securities. And then, folks, when the whole goddamn recession happened, people started getting laid off. People started foreclosing on their homes. And when people started foreclosing on their homes, folks, not only would the home be defaulted on as it related to the loan, but because so many people were foreclosing on their homes, the value of the damn real estate market cut into half, even more than half in some markets, to where the banks who had given a loan to this moron to buy this house for like $500,000 because everybody within that area foreclosed on their home, this idiot that they gave the $500,000 loan to, when he forecloses on, the collateral, which is the house, isn't worth $500,000 anymore, man. It's now worth like $150,000. $175,000. So you mean to tell me that the bank is holding the note on this, and once they realize, oh, man, I'm going to be holding the note on a negative collateral, but, hey, not to worry, I did a derivative security. I'm going to go and cash out my insurance at AIG, which is what all these financial institutions tried to do, which literally almost crippled the whole insurance worldwide. I'm not kidding around. I mean, this is really what caused the whole goddamn debacle, folks. I mean, it was the economic contraction and then all this crap that I just described to you right now. And look, we're doing it all over again. And once again, you can thank this administration. I'm telling you this right now. This is exactly what is happening in America today. It is a disgrace, all right? But that's really what happened, derivative securities, AIG, insured those derivative securities. The recession happened. The banks were holding negative collateral. They decided to cash out their derivative securities to offset whatever they lost in the negative collateral. AIG couldn't pay out these payouts because they didn't have enough pool of money to even fathom the idea. And the rest is history, folks. And that's why you had Obama and all these financial institutions saying, oh, well, you better give us the money. If you don't give us the money, well, then it's chaos. I mean, it's a disgrace. I mean, that's really what happened, and it's going to happen again, folks. And I didn't mean to get off on this whole soliloquy about the economy, but that's where we are at this point in time. I mean, these precursors are the same things that happened the last time. And I'd strongly advise everybody to start bracing for, I don't know what the hell's going to happen this time. But in my personal opinion, if you want my opinion, I do believe the government is going to bail out these idiot institutions one more time. They're going to bail out the dollar. They're going to prop up the dollar one more time. Doesn't matter who's president, unfortunately. I mean, it could be Trump. It could be anybody. They're going to prop up the dollar this one last time. And then after that, that's it. It's over. The dollar's over. That's why Trump being elected is so important, because not only will he, potentially do the same thing, prop up the dollar, but this man is going to pay down the debt. And when he pays down the debt, I believe that not only will he be able to pay down the debt, but he could negotiate with some of these bondholders here in paying down the principal in a short-term amount. This man has the ability. I don't want to get into what he potentially may do, but I think that we need to start paying down on the principal of the debt, because all of our taxes, all right, all of our personal income taxes, the corporate taxes, and everything that's collected right now in America is only paying off the interest of the American debt. That's it. We're not paying any of that principal. You know, it's going to go to $21 trillion thanks to the omnibus bill that was passed by this supposed conservative Congress led by Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell over here. I mean, $21 trillion. We need to pay that debt. That's why Donald Trump is talking about letting these allies that we have unconditionally taken care of and spent our own money protecting, they need to start coming and paying up, all right? They're rich now, all right? They got rich off of the American consumption. Now it's time for them to start paying up so that they can help us pay down this debt. All right, I'm serious. I mean, this man is not joking around. Once the debt starts being paid down, all of a sudden the value of our dollar starts getting a little bit more valuable. More people in the international community are going to want to get United States bonds, and that's very important. All right, when bonds start being more sought after because they start seeing that the United States is paying off its debts, well, then all of a sudden the American dollar starts becoming a little bit more prominent on an economic scale globally. Do you understand? People want to trade for American petrodollar. So once again, this is why this is this important. On the left, what do you have? You've got nothing but two different parties. And I'm talking about Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, and I've said it. I said it yesterday. I've been saying it since I came back. Joe Biden was 60% chance coming in and usurping the nomination from Hillary Clinton. But either way, whether it's Hillary Clinton or whether it's Joe Biden, you're getting international bureaucracy there. Those people could care less about America. They could care less about you, Black Lives Matter, women's lib, feminism, lesbians, gays. They could care less about any of that because, as I've stated, if Hillary Clinton is president, Bill Clinton becomes the UN Secretary General. All right, I've said it and I'll continue to say it. Now, if Joe Biden becomes president, then one Barack Obama. That's right, one Barack Hussein Obama becomes UN Secretary General. This is what this is all about on the left, and I think that you people need to spread that around like wildfire and let everybody know that that's what it's about. It's not about anything else on the left. It's not about America. It's not about saving people. It's not about helping the poor. It's not about any of that liberal nonsense. It's about pure power, pure unadulterated global power. If Hillary Clinton is elected, then her and Bill become the most powerful couple in world history. Do you understand this? If Joe Biden is somehow elected president, then Barack Obama becomes, and Joe Biden, they become the most powerful political duo in world history. It's all about international power on the left, folks. So if you're entertaining anything on the left, then understand that that's what you're doing. You're an institutionalist, bureaucratic, global scumbag. All right, and that's all there is to it. That you just basically want to prop these filthy, disgusting, murderous people to power because I don't know. You're sick. You're twisted. I mean, you consider them gods or something, and there's something wrong with you. With all due respect, that's why Donald Trump's election is so goddamn important. All right, look at the economy, for Christ's sake. Business investment worse since the Great Recession. Home ownership falls to the the third lowest point on record. And let me tell you, it's not too far from being the first. Anyway, let me move on, folks. I want to talk a little bit about Donald Trump continuously getting hit for this woman card comment. I mean, I don't see where what he said was somehow sexist or misogynist or makes him a snake or a lizard or whatever. I mean, all he said is that if Hillary was a Republican and a man, she'd be out of there. All right? She'd be indicted by now for that damn email scandal, for Christ's sake. All right? I mean, they would look into the fact that her husband, all right, physically and sexually abuses women. And then when those women try to speak out, she comes in like a pit bull and emotionally and mentally abuses these women. I mean, it's documented. For folks that don't believe me, for Christ's sake, by God, look on the internet, man. There's a bunch of women that are out there pleading their stories and talking about how intimidated they were because Hillary Rotten Clinton just was a pit bull in going after the women that Bill Clinton abused physically and sexually, for Christ's sake, man. I'm not kidding around. Anyway, I'm just saying, this woman card thing, the media is going full throttle with it. Don't believe it, folks, all right? I mean, have you looked at the record of one Donald Trump and look at all the women executives that this guy's not very vocal about this, to be honest with you, but I think that you should do your due diligence research and understand that this man was an innovator as it related to a man hiring women executives, all right? I mean, that's part of that New York values that, that Canadian bacon moose humping Ted Cruz criticized so much, all right? I'm serious, man. I mean, before you start harping on the fact that Trump is some kind of a misogynist grand dragon that wants to put women back in the kitchen, butt naked, bent over backwards, making corn grits or something, I think that people need to do the research on the fact that this man has given more opportunities on an executive level to women than probably anybody at the time. I mean, this is the 80s when this man was doing this, all right? And when you are a woman executive, you're making cash. You know what I'm saying? You're making money, especially in New York, for Christ's sake, man. You're making New York cash, baby. I mean, and you mean to tell me that this man is a sexist and a misogynist? It's just garbage. It's just utter crap. And as you can see, the talking heads are running with it, for Christ's sake. And look, I alluded to the fact that women are playing a card. I mean, let's be honest. They're playing a goddamn card. Not all of them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to lump every damn woman in one category, but I have always said a group is defined by its majority. All right? And right now, the majority of women, I'm not saying all women, but the majority of women out here are trying to live their life as if they are in a damn romantic comedy or some crap. I kid you not. I mean, they're easily bored, for Christ's sake. I mean, they're real quick to get into some kind of a marriage. They're very impulsive now. They think they're independent. They're listening to Beyonce, for Christ's sake, and they think that they're so goddamn independent. Then when they make life decisions that they don't want to have any more obligation to, it's very easy for them to just kind of, oh, it wasn't my fault. I mean, that's not how life works, women, all right? And that's what, unfortunately, the woman card, the connotation of it, the meaning of it means, all right? Us as men, every time that we make a decision that is going to affect us for the rest of our lives, we live with it, all right? Whether we like it or not, all right? We live with it, we deal with it, and we try to move on, for Christ's sake, all right? I mean, that's the difference, unfortunately, between men and women. And let me explain something. I believe women are very strong. I mean, they go through childbirth, for Christ's sake. I mean, it's one of the most excruciating pains, from what I understand, to the human body, all right? I mean, I believe they're strong, but what's unfortunate is that feminism has got you in a groupthink dynamic that I don't believe, can get away from. I mean, it's this woman, hear me roar. Okay, we get it. We're hearing you roar, but I don't think you understand what you're roaring about. And what's unfortunate is a lot of women right now, they want something that is just completely unachievable or unattainable because they watched it in a goddamn movie, all right? I mean, life is not a romantic comedy, ladies. Do you understand this, all right? I mean, if you were going to get into a relationship with somebody, you understand this is trials, tribulations. You're making a life with this person. I mean, not everything is going to be peaches and roses, for Christ's sake, all right? Breakfast in bed, kooky times with this idiot, serenading you from a goddamn, second-story building. I mean, this is not how life works, all right? And unfortunately, we've got the majority of females out here that believe this because they go to the movies too much, all right? They're watching the garbage that is being projected to them on television and believing it. Now, folks, I want to be completely honest with you. I respect women. I'm not joking. I mean, the only reason I'm going off on this tirade is because to call Donald Trump a sexist for making a slight comment like that is ridiculous. Now, to call me one, you can take it for what you want. I don't really care, all right? I've got a wife. I mean, we've been together for a long time. I would do anything for this woman. Trials, tribulations, she's been there. I mean, when I ever had any kind of doubt in myself, this woman was like, "Are you kidding me? You're the man, you know? I mean, just pepping you up, for Christ's sake, motivating you. You know what I'm saying? Not sitting there and wallowing or basking in your failure or anything of that nature, man. It's a team effort, for Christ's sake. And you see, women just believe it's all about them. You know, I mean, all about them. I mean, look, let me tell you something, ladies, all right? All right, let me tell you something, all right? If you are like Kelly Ripa, all right, and that one Mexican guy that she's married to, and you know, I like that Mexican guy because I don't know his freaking name, and that's the way it should be, all right? I mean, this guy is living the lavish life of being a freaking house husband on the beach of Malibu or some crap. I mean, I've seen this guy. I forgot his freaking name. I don't really care, and no one should, because look who's coming home and bringing home the bacon. Kelly Ripa. Now, do I like Kelly Ripa? No, I think she's a little rodent, annoying, person. But hey, look, she's making a living. She's making money. She's a workaholic. And, this idiot is doing his role and shutting his hole and taking care of the children, and she's going and doing her thing, all right? Now, I understand that. Now, if you are a woman that's independent in that regard, that's great. But you see, they got a team going on. You see, I mean, I know that Ripa, she passes herself off as a very strong little woman, and she is. Don't get me wrong, but she has a team there. All right? Where she finds solace is going home to her family. All right? Her children, her husband. All right? Her home. All right? I mean, that's what you women, unfortunately, don't seem to understand, and I blame single mothers. I'm sorry. I blame single mothers. Not all of you, of course, folks. I know there's some single mothers that are kick-ass. I mean, hell, look at Puff Daddy's mother, all right? I mean, I don't want to get into Puff Daddy or P. Diddy or, P. Wee Wee or whatever the hell his name is now, but if you look at his mother, if it hadn't have been for her busting her ass, working her ass off, trying to show her son that, look, we ain't ghetto. You understand? I mean, we want the better things in life. We want the finer things in life, and the only way we're going to get those things is if we work for it. I know that there's women like that, believe me. But once again, a group is defined by its majority, all right? So once again, I don't want to go off on this whole women card anymore, folks, but because I did a little bit of it yesterday. But women, life is not a freaking romantic comedy. It's not a romantic comedy, all right? You're going to have to, unfortunately go through some hard times, ladies, okay? And you see, if you think that you can do it all yourself, why don't you take a look at the statistics right now, ladies, and take a look at how many women are dying of strokes or having strokes, having heart attacks, getting cancers. And I'm talking at young ages, because I'm going to be completely honest with you, because you're so impulsive and mentally erratic and don't want to take responsibility for everything, all that denial is manifesting within you, all right? I mean, that's what I believe most cancers are. Now, don't get me wrong, you could be an unhealthy son of a bitch and, something happens to you, but for the most part, I believe most cancers are just internal manifestations that are growing within inside of you. Now, I don't want to get too off keister, but I strongly advise people to look up tumors that have been extracted out of people. I mean, these things grow hair. I mean, they have teeth, some of them. Some of them got eyes, for Christ's sake. I mean, I believe, and I'm a spiritual man, all right? I believe that these are internal manifestations of secrets and, denial and envy and all this crap that just manifesting inside of you. And that's what's happening, ladies, because you want to blame everybody else for your misfortunes when, in all due respect, you're supposed to be independent, you're supposed to be individual, you're supposed to be doing your own thing, And unfortunately, it's not going your way, and that's what happens when you're doing your own thing, all right? A lot of the times, it's not going to go your freaking way, and you just deal with it like us men do, for Christ's sake, you know? And before I move on to this another subject matter, I also want to highlight the fact that you notice how men can one time beat the living bejesus out of each other because of a dispute, because sometimes men have to, throw fisticuffs. I can't really explain why. Sometimes you got to do it. But then after the damn ass beating, whether it's one guy or the other, all right, a day or two later, they could see each other and be like, all right, man, that's it. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. No, hey, I should. Hey, you see what I'm saying? It takes a good beating, and not to mention mutual respect that men have for one another. For one to be able to go through that kind of experience. Do you understand? But women, they hold grudges. Do you understand? I mean, women could fight each other and they'll see each other 3 days later and want to kill each other even more, even harder. I mean, give me a break. I mean, you understand what I'm saying, folks. I mean, you see it all the time. I mean, even in the freaking sick-ass ghetto world star hip-hop videos, whenever somebody's in a fight and when the man is knocked out cold, other gentlemen that are watching the fight pull off the aggressor off of the knocked out individual because no one wants to see anybody get killed in a damn fight, all right? I mean, seriously. I mean, nobody should go out in a fight. But you see here recently, do you hear about that little girl in the East Coast over here in some freaking school got killed in a bathroom in a girl-chick fight? I mean, this is the mentality people need to observe, and not to mention women need to observe amongst themselves, all right? And that's all I'm saying. Us guys, we could kick each other's asses, and then we could see each other a couple of days later and logicize the whole idea, the whole episode. You could be like, oh, you know what? Maybe I was a little too aggressive, and the other guy, no, I was being a real prick. I was loud. I mean, they start agreeing with one another, and then we can move on. I'm telling you, that's how men are. I don't know why ladies can't be that way. Anyway, I want to move on to something else, folks, because I don't want to make this about feminism. I don't want to have some fat, lesbianic, disgusting bull dykes getting triggered because I'm talking too much about women or anything of that nature. All right, I want to move on to something else. Did you hear about John Boehner today? For Christ's sake, he decided to come out and I don't know, mouth off. I mean, because he literally got ousted from power by this little pipsqueak ass clown, Paul Ryan. All right, I guess he decided to come out and give a tongue lashing to those folks that kind of pulled him down from power. But he basically compared Ted Cruz to Lucifer. That's right. He said that Ted Cruz is Lucifer in the flesh, and I disagree. I mean, because Lucifer would, as I understand it, I mean, if we, take the Bible's interpretation, if we are to believe that Lucifer is Satan, that he would come at us in a more slickster, a more gentle, a more favorable, a more friendly persona, all right? I just don't believe that you could compare Ted Cruz to Lucifer. I think that Ted Cruz is some kind of a rodent, some kind of a rodent demon, or, in India, believe it or not, there's a part of India where they don't kill rats because they worship the rat, all right? Now, I'm not trying to disrespect any Indian's religion, but, I mean, I'm not going to worship anything that thinks that, Master Splinter is real, all right? I'm sorry. I'm serious. I'm just saying, that's what I think. If you're going to compare Ted Cruz to a deity, it would be whatever the rat god is over there in India, where they don't kill any rats. That's what I compare Ted Cruz to. He's a rodent son of a bitch as far as I'm concerned. Soulless bureaucrat piece of trash. All right? And I'm glad Boehner came out and said this about Ted Cruz, because Ted Cruz, I mean, nobody likes this guy. The GOP, nobody that's ever come across this guy really likes this guy. And the only people that say they like him, I mean, he's obviously, he has to bribe them. He has to say that he's going to do something for him or something. I mean, hence the whole deposit of that $500,000 from super PAC to between Forina, whatever the hell her stupid name is, and Ted Cruz. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, man. This guy's a disgusting, despicable, sniveling human being. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He's not making a very good case for the fact that he's not the freaking Zodiac killer. I mean, I'm serious. He's not making a very good case that he's not the freaking Zodiac killer, for Christ's sake. Anyway, give me my drink, for Christ's sake. I mean, just talking about that sniveling bastard gives me the heebie-jeebies, for Christ's sake. Give me my drink. Anyway, folks, I'm, of course, drinking some scotch. You got to be 21 years of age or older. Maybe in some parts of the world it's a little younger, but I definitely want to say cheers to the Trump train, folks. I've never seen a political movement more serious, and I am hype. I mean, every day I wake up, of course I'm out here capitalizing, but when I'm about to do this show, I get so hyped because I know that there's so many dedicated people that want to make this country great again. There's so many people that want capitalism to be the bastion of success of this country once again. People that want more of their money in their pockets, less government regulation, less government bureaucrats. I mean, I can feel it, man. I can feel the goddamn optimism in the air. I love it, man. I love it. Anyway, I want to say cheers to the Trump train, cheers to the capitalist army, and, of course, cheers to the man that has sparked this capitalist revolution, because what we are witnessing, folks, is a capitalist revolution. It's a capitalist revolution, baby, and don't you ever forget it. By God, cheers to Donald Trump. Cheers, baby. Oh, oh, man. I'm telling you, man, I love scotch. All right, I mean, I love it. It's great. It's beautiful. If you're a gentleman, all right, and look, it's going to take you a while to drink scotch. I know that there's some young people that are like, oh, I'll drink it, yeah. No, man, you gotta freshen up your palate, all right. You need to start maturing that palate, for Christ's sake, and start truly appreciating the nuances of not just scotch, but everything that you consume. All right, I mean that's all there is to it. That's what life's about. I mean, that's why you are a capitalist, so that you can appreciate everything that life has to offer and truly enjoy it, all right? Truly immerse yourself with it, all right? Anyway, folks, on top of John Boehner talking about how, Ted Cruz is Lucifer in the flesh, which, I understand the euphemism, but, this guy's the sniveling rat god of India as far as I'm concerned. He hinted to the fact that Joe Biden may enter the presidential race. I mean, what did I say? I mean, what? Woo! What have I been saying, folks? Look back at the archive at blogtalkradio.com/ghost. Every damn episode is time dated and stamped. I have said time and time again, folks, that Joe Biden, all right, I mean, and look, the percentages keep getting higher and higher as the days go by, that Joe Biden is going to come in and he is going to usurp the nomination from Hillary Clinton. I mean, I don't think it's an accident that Barack Obama wants to release these 28 pages, all right, which will implicate Hillary Clinton. I mean, you've got the FBI for a lack of a better term, cock-teasing these FBI indictments, for Christ's sake. They don't know whether they're going to do it or not, but they keep releasing these press releases, for Christ's sake. I'm telling you right now, the possibility of Joe Biden, now with Bonner coming out here and basically validating what I have been suggesting, that this man is subtly coming out, subtly trying to show that he's presidential, so on and so forth. Joe Biden, according to John Boehner, is going to possibly enter the presidential race. I think this is big. And on top of this, folks, not only did John Boehner say that Joe Biden could enter the presidential race, on the same day, probably during the same time, this man, Joe Biden, decides to take a secret trip to Iraq, all right, and get a photo op of him. Get a photo op of him out there looking like he's some brave son of a bitch going out there in the middle of Iraq like, he fought it or something, all right, claiming that he was going to help try to solve the sectarian violence. And, I mean, just give me a break. Give me a freaking break. But once again, folks, I told you, the prognosticator of prognosticators strikes again. I'm telling you, folks, I'm not joking. All right? I'm not joking. Joe Biden, as the days go by, this man looks more and more like he's going to usurp this DNC nomination from Hillary Rotten Clinton. And as I've stated, folks, it's not about America. It's not about the presidency. It's not about the people. It's about pure, global, unadulterated power. All right? One more time before we go on to Twitter shout-outs, all right? If Hillary Rotten Clinton is elected, Bill Clinton becomes the UN Secretary General. If Joe Biden is elected president, Barack Hussein Obama becomes the UN Secretary General. It's that simple, folks, all right? The left could care less about America, could care less about the poor, could care less about Black Lives Matter, could care less about anybody. It's about pure, unadulterated power. And don't you ever forget it, folks. All right, anyway, folks, we're going to go on and do some Twitter shout-outs. Do we have any Twitter shout-outs, engineer?
Geico presents sharing versus oversharing. Earlier this week, Claire Tippins shared a princess nickname generator, 3 pictures of her dog wearing a tutu, and 2 online quizzes, including, what candy is your dream castle made of? Claire, your sharing has tipped the sugar scale and turned into oversharing. But have no fear, princess. Geico has something worth sharing with your internet kingdom, like how you could save hundreds on your car insurance just by visiting geico.com. No magic wand required. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, we got a few Twitter shout-outs, according to the engineer. And, of course, if you want a Twitter shout-out, all you've got to do is go to my Twitter account at PoliticsGhost, all one word, no underscores, PoliticsGhost, and retweet the first tweet on my Twitter account, folks, all right? Not the pinned tweet, the first tweet that says, True Capitalist Radio now live. True Capitalist Radio now live on the house, all right? If you just retweet that first tweet, I'll give you a damn Twitter shout-out. All right? That's as simple as that. Anyway, let's get to it. TCR Steam Chat in the house. Some asshole named Fruit Bowl Ghost. Yeah, you're lucky we're not in the damn bar room, boy. I'm telling you this right now. Polio for Ghost, you asshole. Franklin Ghostevelt, you son of a bitch. Don't you ever compare me to that closet commie. All right? Let me tell you something. Franklin Delano Roosevelt is a piece of trash, all right? I'm telling you this right now. I've said the story time and time again. This man goaded us into World War II so he could prolong the Great Depression so that he could sustain himself into 4 terms in office. He's a piece of trash. And you can tell him I said that, all right? Anyway, we got Lego Fan 421. We've got Ghost is Senpai. Yeah, real funny, asshole. I know what that freaking means, you hentai freaking anime freaks. Enough of that crap. Anyway, we've got I'm Vice City here. I'm not saying that disgusting name. Mud Bowl, Texas. Yeah, real funny, asshole. Let me tell you, I mean, I don't know when the hell this rain's going to stop, man. I'm serious. I don't know when the hell this is going to stop. I have no idea. But I'm getting a little concerned, to say the least. All right? I mean, I'm not kidding around. I'm getting a little concerned about all this rain in Texas, for Christ's sake. And let me tell you, all you sons of bitches out there that are working in HARP, for Christ's sake, all right, stop with your power trip, all right? I mean, it's enough. We've had enough rain, all right? I know you're trying to, rile us all up and say, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make a lot of rain out there in Texas. Stop it. Enough, all right? Enough rain, enough hail, enough freaking tornadoes, enough of this crap. Anyway, we've got the Capitalist Army Unite in the house. We've got Drunkaroozy. Yeah, real funny. If you're talking about me, I'm not an alcoholic, folks. I'm a connoisseur, all right? I mean, that's what you people don't understand. I'm a connoisseur of the finer things in life because I'm a capitalist. That's what I do. I make money, baby, so I can capitalize, so I can be a connoisseur, for Christ's sake. On that note, let me take a drink now because you sons of bitches are trying to come at me with that crap. Oh. Woo! I'm telling you, man, it's just great. I love scotch. Anyway, we got Sergeant Yoda in the house. Ghosty Seville. Oh, yeah, real funny asshole. I'm not. Isle of Fannie Mae. Jesus Christ. SD Lawyer Capitalist in the house. Priebus and Butthead. That's pretty funny. We've got Karaskin in the house. What's going on to Karaskin? Diarrhea Blue Label. Real funny asshole, all right? Jesus Christ. Ghost Gaddafi. Yeah, real funny. Green Leader 1978. Crap Pants, LOL. Molested Farm Boy. Flaming Nipple Chops, for Christ's sake. Jesus Christ. You see what you got to put up with, folks, if you're on the internet? Do you see what's going on here? Huh? I'm not kidding around. I'm just trying to give some Twitter shout-outs, and if you want a Twitter shout-out, Politics Ghost is the name. Retweet the first tweet on my Twitter account, for Christ's sake, if you want a damn Twitter shout-out. Who else do we got? We got Rugged_NYC in the house. We've got the Whore Master. Oh, yes, I am the Whore Master. We've got Atlas Goldman in the house. El Foxo Loco in the house. Spread like AIDS in the house. That's gross. All right, that's horrible. All right, that's horrible. I mean, what? You got the AIDS. That's horrible. Anyway, Kiwi Archangel in the house. Bodie 02 in the place. I'm not saying that name, you son of a bitch. Cuckalist. Shove it up your ass, all right, with that name. Bureaucrat Radio, Blue Bureaucrat. Lord Poke in the house. Hang on, Robin Williams. Oh, you son of a bitch. I'm telling you, guys, you're soulless. All right, you guys are soulless on this garbage, man. I mean, look, I'm trying to give you guys an opportunity to interact with the show. And this is the kind of garbage that you guys are coming up with as it relates to damn Twitter shout-out names, you sons of bitches. You heartless sons of bitches, man. Seriously. Jesus Christ. Who else do we got going on over here? I'm not saying that crap. Alamo and Aqua, for Christ's sake. Man, stop it. Stop with the flood crap, all right? This is not a joke. This is not a laughing matter. We're getting too much rain down here in Texas, for Christ's sake, man. This is concerning to me. It should be concerning to everybody. We're getting too much rain out here in Texas, too much hail, high winds, tornadoes, for Christ's sake. We're getting too much rain down here in Texas, and I don't like it, boy. I don't like it. Anyway, we got Kayon Cooper in the house. We got Captain Braggin in the house. Who else we got? We got Mexi Slave. I'm not saying that, you sick, twisted prick. Jesus Christ. Enemy for Energy. I mean, do you see this, folks? Do you see this kind of sick, disgusting, twisted garbage? Huh? Jesus Christ. Adopted Poop Tickler. Real funny, asshole. All right, that's enough. That is kind of... Get these goddamn Twitter shout-outs off my screen, engineer. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, we got to go through some serious business here. Do you understand that? This is serious business, man. You got the freaking Republican Party trying to conspire in totalitarian fashion to take away the nomination from Trump, for Christ's sake. You got these scumbags on the left vying for power so they can take over the damn globe through bureaucratic fashion. You've got the whole United States of America anesthetized with entertainment instead of understanding what's really important right in front of their fat jelly-ass faces, for Christ's sake. And then you got you idiots out here doing these goddamn ridiculous trolls, these ridiculous troll terrorist names, cyber vermin activity, for Christ's sake. You're cyber vermin! Jesus Christ. Give me the freaking, give me a drink. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm taking a lot of swigs of this freaking, this scotch here, folks, but I mean, do you blame me? I mean, do you see what's going on here, huh? This is internets for you. This is the internets, all right? The next time you want to throw your damn child in front of the damn internets out here, you think about that, or you think about this, all right? I'm serious. It's a jungle out here. Anyway, let me take a swig of this. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Anyway, let me move on, all right? Once again, John Boehner says Cruz is Lucifer in the flesh and has hinted that Joe Biden may enter the presidential race. And once again, the prognosticator strikes again. Now that Hillary, is basically considering herself a shoe-in, even though I think she's trying to ignore the Joe Biden banter. Guess what's going on now that Hillary Clinton is in general election mode, huh? Bernie Sanders is starting to shut down. Now, what did I say yesterday, folks, huh? What did I say yesterday in episode number 252? I said that it seems to me that you've got Bernie Sanders ready to wind down, all right? I mean, when he came out yesterday and said, I'm Bernie Sanders, and something doesn't seem right. I don't get it. I'm winning, and I'm getting all kinds of winning, and for whatever reason, I'm not winning. So I don't know what I'm doing. Something ain't right. And when he said that, folks, I said it yesterday, that I think that's about it for old Bernie Sanders. All right? I said it. Didn't I say this? Huh? Didn't I say that was it for this old 75-year-old prostate-infected ex-commie bastard? All right? I said that he was giving you a little bit to soften the blow so that all you Bernie Sanders fans aren't heartbroken, aren't demoralized too much, for Christ's sake. And what happened today? Bernie Sanders begins shutting down his campaign, boy. He's laying off his campaign workers, baby. He doesn't want to spend any more money. Are you kidding me? Do you think that he actually wants to run as an independent? That's why I was saying that Donald Trump was calling this old commie bastard out. All right, he was calling him out and say, hey, Bernie, why don't you run as an independent, Bernie, for Christ's sake? All right? I mean, you've got all these damn donations in your campaign contribution account. All right? I mean, you can tell that the Democrats are robbing you, right? Why don't you run as an independent? You've got all these people, rabble-rousing, almost commencing violence in your old 75-year-old prostate-infected name, for Christ's sake. Why don't you run as an independent, Bernie? And I'm telling you, once Donald Trump started calling him out on that, I knew it. I said yesterday, I'd give it 2 weeks, and Bernie Sanders is out of here. And I said, at the most 3, but I doubt it. I said, within 2 weeks, this guy's out of here. Are you kidding me? This son of a bitch is trying to get himself out of here quick. He's going to get himself out of there quick, for Christ's sake. I wonder what the damn Democrats are promising him. They're probably going to put him on some kind of a goddamn committee, some important committee, for Christ's sake. I mean, that's all this was. He was an institutionalist bureaucrat. He was a part of the establishment. Once again, socialists. Once again, liberals. Once again, leftists. You got hoodwinked. Just like you did with Barack Obama. Just like you always do, hook, line, and sinker with every one of these soulless leftist assholes. You fell for it. You fell for it again. And you were going to continue to fall for it again and again and again. Oh, my God. I'm sorry I'm taking glee in this. All right? I am sorry that I'm taking glee in the fact that each and every one of you Bernie Sanders fans who believed in this establishment 75-year-old prostate-infected candidate, who gave your energy, who gave in a lot of instances the beans that's left over in your college debt account to this man, for Christ's sake. How does it feel, baby? I'm telling you, baby, how does it feel? Each and every one of you people that were for Bernie Sanders, baby, huh? Oh, well, how does it feel? How does it feel, baby? I'm telling you, when are you damn leftist liberals going to learn that each and every one of these supposed leftists that you keep electing, that you keep backing up, are soulless bastards? All right, they're riding off of your ignorance. They're riding off of your simplicity. They're riding off of your complete, pathetic, ridiculous lack of reality. Oh, my God. I'm sorry that I'm laughing. I know that I'm probably pissing off a lot of Bernie Sanders people because, look, a lot of these Bernie Sanders people were very serious. I mean, they were out here going to Trump train rallies, all right, trying to agitate violence, for Christ's sake, all right? But once again, I told you ever since I came back on this broadcast, and you can look back in the archive, folks, blogtalkradio.com/ghost. I said it when I came back that Bernie Sanders is a ringer. This man is not serious. This is not a serious campaign. He's not acting serious. I read the writing on the wall, for Christ's sake. But no, you leftist Bernie Sanders jerk dicks. You didn't want to hear it. You didn't want to comprehend it in your stupid, simplistic brains. You wanted to believe because that's a problem with you people. That's a problem with you stupid, disgusting imbeciles. You don't want to have an adult relationship with reality. You want to continue to believe some fictitious romanticism that has no precedent in history, that has no empirical evidence of ever existing. Do you understand this, you stupid morons? And that's why you keep getting hoodwinked. That's why you keep falling for these Barack Obamas. That's why you keep falling for these goddamn Bernie Sanders and all this stupid rhetoric, because that's how you are. That's what your life is worth. It's worth nothing. It's worth nothing but useless rhetoric. And the only reason I know that your lives are worth nothing but useless rhetoric is because you keep falling for it. You keep falling for it. Oh, my God. I'm serious, man. I mean, I'm sorry I'm basking at you people because you know this is the end of the road, right, for you guys out in the Bernie Sanders camps. I mean, all you people that were for Bernie Sanders and agitating violence and acting like stupid buffoons, you know that, it's over. All right, I mean, I'm seeing an article right here. His old lady, Jane Sanders, is defending Clinton as a brilliant, hardworking woman. All right, so here we go, baby. All right, get ready. Bernie Sanders is going to want each and every one of you socialists want-to-have free college assholes to vote for Hillary Rodham Clinton, an establishment Democratic candidate. How does it feel, baby? How does it feel? How does it feel, socialists, to be screwed once again by the people that you so believe in? Oh, look, it's Bernie Sanders. He's going to help us. He's going to take care of us. He's going to give us free college. He's going to give you dick. All right, and that's unfortunate that you people continuously fell for this stuff. First guy, Barack Obama, said he was going to give you everything, gave you nothing, gave Wall Street everything, and gave everybody who donated in his campaign contribution account and to the DNC everything. This time around, you see a Bernie Sanders out here. Oh, yes, I'm Bernie Sanders, and I am going to give free college to everybody. All you have to do is give me whatever beans you got left in your college debt account. You donate it to the Bernie Sanders campaign, and I promise that I will make it the law that you get free college. I'll make it the law that you get a free health care, and I'll make it the law that for that you got to serve in a gulag for 35, 45 years. And you idiots fell for it. I'm serious. I'm sorry that I'm taking so much glee in this, but you fell for it again, all right? I mean, how much more stupid do you people have to be proven to be? I'm sorry, liberals. I'm sorry, leftists. How much more stupid do you have to be proven? I mean, how much more empirical evidence shows that you idiots throw rational thinking and reality perception out the window? You're not living in the now, all right? I'm sorry. All right, I'm stop basking now. All right, I know people are probably getting triggered, and I'm sure there's a bunch of leftists that can't believe it. They're sad, for Christ's sake. All I advise you Bernie Sanders people to do is if you want to rebel against the crooked Democratic Party, by God, go out and vote for Trump. Do you understand that? Go out and vote for Trump. This is an anti-establishment candidate, And let me tell you something right now. He would be the perfect protest for all you little angry Bernie Sanders people, because let me tell you, you got bitch slapped by the left again. How much more times do you have to be bitch slapped before you understand that you got to do the right thing? All right? You've got to do the right thing. Anyway, folks, Bernie Sanders looks like he's shutting down his campaign, laying off his campaign workers, for Christ's sake. I know that these Bernie Sanders people are completely upset. I can feel their pain, for Christ's sake. I can taste their tears through this fiber optically connected world that we call the internet. Woo! I'm telling you, how many more times have they got to be disappointed by socialism and the assholes that advocate it? I mean, how many more times, man? I don't get it. How many more times? Anyway, let's move on to another subject matter, folks. All right. Now, did y'all hear over here on the other side of the pond in Britannia? All right, out there in London, England, okay? A former mayor, that belonged to the Labor Party was suspended from the Labor Party. This man, Ken Livingstone, made comments about Hitler. Now, with all due respect, I believe I made similar comments to this on the 420 episode, which is April 20th episode. I forgot what number it was in the third hour that wasn't broadcasted to the live audience. And I don't understand why everybody's having such a shit fit over these comments. I don't think what he's saying is historically inaccurate. All right, now I don't want to get into the whole history into it once again. If you're interested in the history, I went through it extensively in that episode on April 20th, if you want to go back and check it out. And, of course, you can find it at blogtalkradio.com/ghost. But basically, he said, and I'm talking about the ex-mayor of London, Ken Livingstone, that Hitler was actually pro-Zionist at one point in time. Now, that isn't entirely accurate, but when confronted, I've seen the video clip of Ken Livingstone being confronted by some hysteric idiot. Anytime you entertain any notion relating to World War II in Germany, these people use the mass hysterics and scream and call you an idiot. But with all due respect, Hitler did have the transfer agreement, all right, with Jewish people. He was the one, and I know people don't want to admit this, but I do believe people need to look up the transfer agreement, Germany's transfer agreement with the Jews. He helped basically transfer Jews from Germany and other parts of Europe into Palestine. Do you understand this? This is very accurate, and I alluded to the fact in the episode of April 20th that the reason Hitler did this was because when he took power, he wanted to take control of his economy and basically produce products again. And the Zionists, or the Jewish people on an international front, wanted to boycott German goods on a national scale. Now, Germany could not afford a boycott on a national scale because they needed the consumption of goods, or their goods, on an international scale for them to rebuild their economy. So the transfer agreement was agreed to by Hitler at the time so that the Zionists would drop their international boycott of German goods. And, folks, this is a historical fact, and this is what Ken Livingstone was trying to allude to, I guess, in whatever debate he got this. Unfortunately, when you talk about this subject matter, people get very upset, people get angry, but the truth is the truth, all right? Now, why Hitler became so fanatical as it related to, putting Jews in concentration camps and the stories of Auschwitz and so on and so forth, is because the majority of the people that were communists in Germany, the majority of the people that were communists in Russia were Jewish people, all right? Let's be honest, all right? That's why you had so many Jewish people put in these camps, because these were the people that were rising the communist revolution in Germany, people like Rosa Luxemburg, and you can look up the German Marxists of the time that were basically trying to completely infiltrate the entire government so that they could be, this communist utopia. All right, and of course, anybody that tries to implement communism does so in a totalitarian fashion, and whenever you have totalitarianism, you're going to have a group of opposition, or at least groups of opposition, and that's really what spawned the rise of the Nazi Party, in my personal opinion. All right, was the influx of communists within post-World War I Germany. All right, and that's all there is to it. Now, that's why when, confronted, about Hitler, implementing these anti-Jewish laws in Germany, it wasn't anti-Jewish laws per se. This man was basically going against communists, which at the time were predominantly Jewish. I mean, take a look at who controlled the the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. It was Jews. I mean, Vladimir Lenin was Jewish. Trotsky was Jewish. All right? I mean, this was a Jewish revolution. I mean, the whole concept of Marxism itself comes from the Talmud. This is Jewish idealism. I mean, let's be honest about it, all right? Now, all Ken Livingston was doing was highlighting the fact that at the time when Hitler took power, he did business with the international Jewish diaspora, all right, the Zionists, or whatever you want to call them, all right, whatever you want to call these groups of people, Jewish people internationally, and said, look, don't boycott German products, all right? We need to rebuild our economy, all right? We'll help move the Jewish people into Palestine, and let me tell you, I mean, they helped force Palestine to be settled, by the Jewish people. I mean, they aided in that regard. I mean, the Jewish people have been wanting Palestine for thousands of years, man. I mean, this is biblical crap, all right? I mean, this is all biblical, for Christ's sake, all right? All right, now, did Hitler gas a bunch of Jews? Yes. He gassed a lot of his own people. Was he a horrible person? Absolutely. But every actor in World War II was filthy, disgusting, murderous trash. And that's why World War II in general is a horrific episode. And to encapsulate all of World War II behind one person, it just not historically projects an accuracy of empirical evidence. All right? I mean, Stalin killed 50 million people. Mao Zedong killed 80 million people. Do we need to go on? I mean, Vladimir Lenin killed about 15 million people when he was alive. I mean, just give me a break. All right? I mean, everybody was killing everybody. It was a disgraceful time in in world history, in human history, where, we as human beings thought so less of ourselves that we would allow such powers to dispense of our lives like we were disposable road trash. And that's what both World War I and World War II represent to me, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't care what side of the goddamn war you were on at the time. I mean, it just proved to me that these sick, twisted powers that we are supposed to call our leaders had no regard for our lives whatsoever, had no regard for humanity, had no regard for any of this stuff. I mean, it was a grotesque episode in human history, all right? Now, I don't know why the Labor Party suspended this man from being a part of the party, but I don't see where this man he didn't deny that Hitler killed Jews. He didn't deny Auschwitz. He didn't deny any of this stuff. He basically said, hey, Hitler helped these people to migrate to Palestine. I mean, you look online. You're online right now. The transfer agreement with Germany and just look that up. Transfer agreement, Germany, World War II, and you'll find it. There's a Wikipedia on it, for Christ's sake. You can find papers on it. All right? I mean, give me a break. I don't see why this man has to be chastised I don't get it. But you see, once you entertain any debate of World War II, all of a sudden, if you deny that that one party isn't the worst party of all time, then you are a complete asshole, idiot, imbecile, jerk, racist, whatever. All right? And that's all there is to it. Look, I mean, all actors in World War II were pieces of trash. All of them. They had no regard for human life. All of them. Even Franklin Delano Roosevelt, for Christ's sake. All right? Anyway, I'm sorry to go into that whole tirade, folks, but look, I am a free speech person. All right? You know, and you know, when I see people's speech, you know, just being silenced because somebody doesn't like it, I don't like it. I mean, that's the whole concept of our country. We're supposed to protect even the most hated speech as long as it's not infringing upon somebody else's life, you know, or on somebody else's property or denying somebody else's rights. I mean, I don't get why, you know, just talking about something is such a taboo piece of crap. This is what I'm saying, political correctness. It's garbage. It's trash. We should be able to say whatever we want to say. This is freedom, for Christ's sake, man. Isn't this what we were supposed to be about out here in America, for Christ's sake? I mean, I know all you kids out there, y'all like comic books, right? It's National Superhero Day, huh? I mean, what about truth, justice, and the American way, huh? Superman, for Christ's sake, man. What happened to that crap? What's the American way now, huh? Voterless elections, huh? Oh, the party chooses their own nominee, huh? The vanguard of the goddamn GOP, for Christ's sake, and the DNC. I mean, this is what we're accepting? Talking head media idiots trying to tell us that our vote never counted? I mean, this is what reality is, for Christ's sake. Wake up! You've got a brain, use it. All right? You've got speech, use it. If you're not a very good talker, write it down. Get a blog. Make a video. All right? Make a song. Make a poem. Write a story. All right? Make a movie. I mean, spawn some creativity in your head, for Christ's sake, man. You know that there's things inside of you that bother you that you know are wrong. You're witnessing it, for Christ's sake. If you are listening to this show, you know that things that are inside of you that are telling you that there's something wrong here. There's something wrong here. And there is something wrong, folks. What's wrong is that the people that have been leading us, for Christ's sake, are utter scumbags. They're filth. I mean, just take a look at Dennis Hastert, all right? This idiot was the freaking Speaker of the House, all right? And this guy was paying hush money to kids that he molested when he was a goddamn wrestling coach, all right? I mean, this guy got away with molesting these boys for years. And, you know, this seems to be a common theme amongst our supposed leaders that we elect. I mean, these scumbags seem to be child molesters, you know, drug addicts, you know, they patronize prostitutes, all right, alcoholics, all right. Now, look, don't get me wrong, I think everybody needs a good drink every now and then, for Christ's sake, but, I mean, if you just take a look at the stories that are alleged at these scumbag politicians of ours, for Christ's sake, and these are the guys that are leading us, I mean, is this the representation of our country? I mean, there's something wrong with that. And that's why I'm saying I think there's an awakening going on amongst us, folks, all right, that we know there's something wrong. We know that what's going on right here is not right. This is not freedom. Our vote does not count. There's obvious totalitarianism amongst us as we speak, and those of us that are starting to become aware are going out. They're voting for Trump. We're starting to come alive. The damn mainstream media can't suggest anything to us to settle us down. They're trying to deviate our attention by throwing all these ridiculous, bogus stories, and they can't do it. And that's what makes me so excited about being alive today, folks. If you're a part of the Trump train, and I said this yesterday, and I'm going to continue to say it, do whatever it takes in hopes of spreading the information to these simple people. There are lots of simple people that don't understand anything because they watch the boob tube for their news. They watch the talking heads, and whatever they suggest, they take as news, for Christ's sake. I mean, they take dumbass John Oliver, this stupid limey bastard. Excuse my French for my brethren from across the pond, but I hate Jamie Oliver, this asshole that thinks he knows so much about American politics. All right? Jon Stewart. I mean, people look to this idiot as legitimate news, for Christ's sake, man. I'm sick of this stuff. All right? I'm tired of it. All right, this is why if you have a Twitter account, if you've got a blog, if you've got any kind of social media, spread all the information around like wildfire, all right? I'm serious. I'm not kidding around. Spread it around like wildfire. I mean, get a blog, get some videos out, make propaganda. We need each and every one of your help, for Christ's sake, so that we could penetrate the simple minds of these people that don't want to see the truth, that don't want to see the fact that if they don't get involved and they don't help us elect Donald Trump, that our country is going to turn into a third world crap hole. It's already turning that way, but by God, there's still the slightest window open, folks, and we all have to be aware of this, and we all have to help and make sure that Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, becomes an actual reality, folks. Anyway, folks, I'm serious. All right, I'm serious. We got to do this. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about North Korea. Did y'all hear about North Korea? Kim Jong-un. All right, he fires 2 intermediate ballistic missiles, and they are what? Major fail. Wah, 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 wah. Major fail. Why do you think nobody's taking this idiot serious, for Christ's sake? I mean, he's preparing his country for famine. All right, he's got top generals and people within his military defecting to South Korea, which I don't blame him. All right. I mean, this guy is eating himself to death. I mean, literally. I mean, have you seen this guy? Have you seen a picture of him legitimately walking for long periods of time? No, you haven't. You want to know why? He's eating himself to death, all right? I'm serious. This guy's got a cheese fetish. I'm not kidding around. This guy cannot get enough cheese. He's a cheese eater. He just can't get enough of it, for Christ's sake, man. That's why he's so fat in the ass. He's so fat, I hear that he's breaking his ankles. I mean, that's how fat he is. I'm serious. Meanwhile, his whole country is in famine. They're eating second, third harvest, for Christ's sake. No pun intended, but seriously, all right? But as I've stated, nobody is taking Kim Jong-un serious, all right? I mean, literally, as I've stated previous, all they're doing is, taking all the gunpowder they have left over in their goddamn firecracker factory, all right? Trying to prop up something that looks like a missile, lighting the goddamn fuse. It spews up in the air to try to make some kind of a photo op, all right, so that the people on the state-run media go, oh, look at Kim Jong-un, I mean, seriously, that's all they're doing. We know as well as anybody, this guy he's not a threat to anybody but himself and his own people, and it's really a shame. All right? I mean, it's really a shame because we know as well as anybody, this guy doesn't have any freaking ballistic missiles, for Christ's sake, man. I'm telling you, it's nothing but a bunch of firecrackers put together, for Christ's sake. He lights a fuse under it and tries to freaking make a photo op of it because he's spending all the money on his fat jelly ass. All right, I'm serious. He's spending all the money on his fat jelly ass. Anyway, I don't think that North Korea is any kind of a threat. And like Donald Trump said, he was asked yesterday during a town hall with Greta Van Susteren. I don't know if y'all saw that. But asked about North Korea, and he said that he would pressure China about it because he knows as well as anybody the only reason North Korea is still eating is because of China. China has tremendous pressure over North Korea. They're the only reason North Korea is sustaining itself half-assed, for Christ's sake. All right, and let me tell you, I like what Donald Trump is saying economically about China. I like it. I mean, go back to the negotiating table and force China into saying, hey, wait a minute, you're not going to rip us off anymore, right? You're not going to have, $585 billion you're taking out of our economy, all right? we better renegotiate. You better do something. I mean, if we're going to give you this amount of money, you better shut that fat pipsqueak up over there in North Korea. All right? You better shut that asshole up. All right? If you want us to continue to buy this, well, then, you got to stop putting all these high tariffs on our goods when we come into your country there. All right? Zhang Jinping or whatever the hell your name is. I'm serious. I'm telling you, I cannot wait for the new economy, the Trump economy, all right? I can't wait for it. It's going to be a capitalist revolution, baby. That's why I'm here, all right? That's why I'm advocating everybody. It's a capitalist revolution. Go out and vote for Trump, baby. I mean, if you thought the 80s was great, if you thought the 80s was the bastion of success, if you thought the 80s was a great time, I believe it's going to be 100 times better within 3 years after Donald Trump is elected. Within 3 years. I guarantee it, folks. I mean, this man is I think this man is that sharp. All right? This man is that sharp. Anyway, folks, once again, I want to talk a little bit about the airstrikes, and then I'm going to move on. Did y'all hear about these airstrikes that basically was on a Syrian hospital that killed a bunch of kids and, Doctors Without Borders people and so on and so forth? And, of course, John Kerry comes out and says, I don't believe that those airstrikes were accurate. I'm condemning them. You condemning them. Just shove it up your ass. Who did them? Who did them then, John Kerry, huh? The people that you're funding, the people that NATO are funding, they're the ones that are doing it. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that, man. I mean, I think it's a rather coincidence that these airstrikes in Syria happened the day after the historic foreign policy speech made by Donald Trump. I mean, the America First. As a matter of fact, I think that's going to be the foreign policy speech name in the history books, America First Foreign Policy. Unbelievable. And, of course, people are shaking in their boots like, oh, my God, what does that mean? It means that we're going to go out and we're going to kick ass and we're going to take names, all right? Especially when it comes to these damn bureaucratic institutions, these international bureaucratic scumbag institutions. All right, boy? That's right. Anyway, folks, before we move on to anything else, I'd like for everybody to please follow me on Twitter, folks. Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow. And, of course, the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast is blogtalkradio.com/ghost. That's blogtalkradio.com/ghost. All right? Now, folks, I'm going to go ahead and move on to everybody's favorite part of the broadcast, and I'm talking about Radio Graffiti. That's right, folks, Radio Graffiti. It's a part of the broadcast where the spectators become a part of the spectacle. All you have to do is give me a call at 516-453-9903, and when I call on your Skype name or on your area code, you'll have exactly 3 to 4 seconds to say whatever it is that's on your mind, folks. It's as simple as that. All right? I mean, seriously. And look, when I call on your Skype name or on your area code, please don't be a Helen Keller deaf mute. Please don't be a moron. Please don't just sit there and play with your pecker shaft. I mean, we want you to say something. Say something. All right, 516-453-9903 is the number to call, folks, if you want to partake in Radio Graffiti. And I think we're going to go ahead and start Radio Graffiti right now. All right, let's go for the top here. 520 Radio Graffiti.
Hey, Ghost, that Native American rain dance you did a couple of years ago worked a little too well in Texas, eh?
Yeah, shove it up your ass, all right? That's not funny, all right? Goddamn burrito-eating son of a bitch. 818 Radio Graffiti.
Hey, Ghost, I was listening to your show last week, and you were talking about or bragging about eating some steaks, and I was just wondering why you were bragging about eating those steaks that you cooked out on your balcony on your little hibachi barbecue. I mean, you might upset your homeowners association. They might kick your ass out of your apartment. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, are you kidding me? Let me tell you something, all right? I'm known around these motherfucking parts, all right? All right, let me tell you something. I mean, I'm up top. I'm almost close to the penthouse status, all right? The only reason I didn't get a penthouse status is because I'd drop about $2,000 a month as it relates to goddamn homeowners association fees, and I don't want to do that, all right? It's bad enough that I'm dropping over a G as it is just to live in this son of a bitch, all right? But that's the difference between you and me. I'm a capitalist, and I can do that, all right? That's all there is to it. 940 Radio Graffiti.
Oh, this fucking rain needs to stop.
Yeah, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. 435 Radio Graffiti.
Death to bureaucracy. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Let me tell you something. I'm sick of bureaucracy, and I'm telling you, when Donald Trump is elected, there's going to be a lot of bureaucrats in the unemployment line, boy. As a matter of fact, let me take a swig of some damn Johnny Walker Blue Label. Oh, yeah. Let me take a little swig of this. Oh, man. I can't wait to see these goddamn bureaucrats on the unemployment line, boy. I can't wait. 717 Radio Graffiti.
Hey, Ghost, do you think when you'll die, you'll be rolling around in your grave?
Real funny, asshole. And secondly, I'm not a cripple. 269 Radio Graffiti.
Hey, Ghost, huge fan of the show and huge Trump supporter. Since you taught me that silence is consent, I've officially started to sell TCR anime hentai on anime sites around the internet.
Shut up. Shut your ass. If you're an anime hentai watching piece of garbage, you need to get yourself a little bit of a social life. All right? Give me a goddamn break, you stupid, dumb, playing with your own pecker shaft fruit bowl loser. All right? Borderline sexual predator jerk dick. 712 Radio Graffiti.
Hey, Ghost, I just purchased a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue Label. Do you mind if I take a sip really quick?
Go ahead.
All right. Oh, that's just nasty. Fuck.
Yeah, right. You couldn't afford to even buy a shot of that son of a bitch, all right? A shot of that son of a bitch is probably worth more than the shoes that you have on your feet right now, you dumb, stupid, dumb, imbecilic. Wish you had some Blue Label. Wish you were a capitalist, socialist, Bernie Sanders, prostate-infected, worshipping, chicken-eating, cornball trash. All right, boy? Anyway, we got 813 Radio Graffiti.
We used to win, we don't win anymore. We're gonna build the wall with a big fat door. We're gonna keep the talented people here. Will you get your asses in here? Please do me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Pivot Idiot Radio Graffiti. Seriously, man. I mean, this man has a phallic obsession. He is obsessed with his own wee-wee. Who's doing these songs, for Christ's sake? 850 Radio Graffiti.
Hey, Ghost, if you need a quick buck, I hear there's a Chinese restaurant near 6th Street that might give you a good deal for Templeton.
Yeah, shut your ass. I don't need no quick buck, boy. You understand that? I signed a big deal earlier in the week, for Christ's sake, that's got me set, man, regardless of who's president here for the next 5 years. I want you to be on. I want to be completely honest with you. 786 Radio Graffiti.
Angela Merkel, I'm coming to rape that pussy of yours.
Jesus Christ, that's a horrible accent, for Christ's sake. I mean, you're trying to sound like Angela Merkel, yet you sound like a cross between, some Haji and a camel jockey. I don't get it. 808 Radio Graffiti.
Hey, Ghost, just wanted to say, good show, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. 712 Radio Graffiti.
Johnny Walker.
Yeah, shove it up your ass. 609 Radio Graffiti.
I'm waxing my baby carrot patchouli from the Toho Project.
Oh, Jesus Christ, with these anime jerk dicks. Jesus. And in the Wizard, Radio Graffiti. Hey, I never said I was against globalization. Government bureaucrats should be in charge of the world. Do you understand me? Bureaucrats should control this world. Woo! You scumbag son of a bitch! You dumb son of a bitch! I never said that! I never said that, you son of a bitch! I hate bureaucrats! Jesus Christ, man. Don't splice me like that ever goddamn again. I'm serious, boy. I'm not joking. Don't ever splice me like that again, boy. Let me tell you something, you scumbags. Don't you ever splice me like that again, boy. I hate bureaucrats. I hate them. I hate them. Christ, dude. Give me the mic. Give me the mic. Give me the freaking mic, for Christ's sake, all right? Don't splice me with any of that bureaucrat crap. You understand that, boy? That really pisses me the hell off. I'm not kidding around. Don't splice me with any of that goddamn stupid bureaucrat crap. I'm not joking around. Do not splice me with any of that bureaucrat crap. I hate bureaucrats, all right? Do you hear the seriousness in my voice, you stupid scumbags? I hate bureaucrats. I'm warning you scumbags, all right? I'm telling you, idiots are in hot water with me. You continue with this crap. Son of a bitch. Anyway, a real black guy, Radio Graffiti.
Hello, Ghost. This is Albert in Germany, and I'm watching my sister have intercourse with a refugee. As they say in Texas, good work, Anna, good work.
Oh, my God, Jesus Christ. That's not even something to be joking around about, asshole, all right? I'm serious. That's not even something to be joking around about. I mean, you got freaking this migrant crisis over here in freaking Europe, for Christ's sake, and they're literally raping their women out there, all right? They're raping their European women, and I don't want to talk about it, all right? That's not even something to be joking about, for Christ's sake, scumbag. Jesus Christ. 678 Radio Graffiti.
Ghost, I was wondering if you could do a guess the minority for this capitalist socialist calling it.
Yeah, well, I don't think so. I don't really feel like it, all right? I play Guess the Minority when I feel like it, all right? Nobody dictates anything to me, scumbag. And go chew on a rubber tortilla while you're at it. 712, Radio Graffiti. That's stupid, for Christ's sake. Who else do we got going on? Exara Hawks, Radio Graffiti. True capitalist penis there doing a little bit of Mario, Super Mario. Everybody remembers Super Mario, for Christ's sake, all right? I mean, it was a cool game, but the premise of it was kind of weird, wasn't it? A couple of plumbers or whatever the hell they were, pizza eating, whatever the hell they were. Anyway, who else do we got here? We've got the Teutonic Plague, Radio Graffiti.
Ghost, I got something I'd like to discuss after the show, so keep me on. But for Radio Graffiti, I'm going to say that Kim Jong-un is a ham bone. He's a fat, greasy ass.
That's pretty funny. All right, we'll keep you on the line later on for the post-show. We got Cosmo Brockington, Radio Graffiti.
That skunk-headed asshole Donald Trump, huh? I mean, what are they discussing exactly? You know? Wig.
All right, shut it off. Shut him up, all right? You sit there and shut your face. I mean, don't you understand? I mean, at the time when I was critical of the man, he was gun-shy as it related to running for president, and now, in retrospect, I don't blame him. I mean, look at everybody that's against the man. All right, you got the Chinese government. You got these international bureaucratic institutions. You got the political class system. You got the scumbag media, for Christ's sake. You've got Mexico. I mean, I can go on and on, for Christ's sake. I don't blame him for being so goddamn gun-shy, boy. I don't blame him. We got the People's Republic of China, Radio Graffiti. I mean, Jesus Christ, what is this obsession with this asshole, for Christ's sake, man? Do you hear him? I mean, he's talking about his flesh flute every goddamn song, for Christ's sake. Like we give two rats' asses about his wang. Good Lord. Anyway, 240 Radio Graffiti.
Hey, Ghost. You have the, back when Nixon had this Watergate scandal, there was outrage everywhere, but yet there's no outrage for what Obama's done so far. So where's the outrage?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you why, because everybody is anesthetized with freaking entertainment, with freaking Beyonce Knowles, and worried about other things than actually understanding reality. Do you understand that? I mean, hell, look at these jerk dicks out here waxing their carrot to freaking anime and hentai, sexualizing cartoons, borderline sexual predators, for Christ's sake. Jesus Christ. 205 Radio Graffiti.
Take more than one man at a time, boy. I get bound to living be Jesus right about 2 or 3 homosexuals.
Shut up with that sick-ass splice. Shut up. 949 Radio Graffiti.
Oh, hey, Ghost. Listen, I wanted to give a shout out to the engineer, and I actually have my own politics bureaucracy, so I'm wondering if you can keep me on the line so for the post show I can give my own story.
All right, no problem. We'll keep you on for the post show. 954 Radio Graffiti.
Hey, Ghost, I was wondering, do you think Hillary Clinton will disavow her mentor, Democratic Senator Robert Byrd?
No, of course she won't. Are you kidding me? I mean, she said this man was her mentor, ex-Ku Klux Klan member. Of course, Black Lives Matter don't want to hear about that. They don't want to talk about that. All right, because they want to talk about whatever's going to put their mug on television. That's all it's about. Attention whoring, boy. That's what politics is about on the left. Attention whoring. 661 Radio Graffiti. Jesus Christ, you're just Helen Keller deaf mute. 469 Radio Graffiti.
Hello, am I on, sir?
Yeah, you're on. Now you're off. Sorry about that. 610 Radio Graffiti.
Favorite part of the broadcast, and I'm talking about enemies with
Shut up. Shut up. Jesus Christ. Who else do we got going on over here? Renegade Supreme Radio Graffiti.
Hello, caller from the unknown number. You're live on air with Radio Free South Africa. Did you have a question or a comment?
I'm a Nazi, and I endorsed this Nazi group called the National Socialist Underground. And sorry, I hurt people's feelings about the whole pro-Nazi commentary here, but I'm telling you the honest truth, folks. I am pro-National Socialist, all right? Let me take some that happen to be skinheads. So unfreaking believable. And, of course, the Schlagen Volkswagen worldwide.
Oh, yeah? So
it wouldn't be a complete call without someone.
You mean to tell me you idiots are still calling people and using soundboards with my voice? You son of a bitch! You sons of bitches! Jesus Christ! You sons of bitches, man! You goddamn sons of bitches! 574 Radio Graffiti.
It will be legal in Texas to eat your children.
Jesus Christ, shut up, you sick, twisted turds, man. You sick, twisted turds out here. We've got Gamer Dude, Radio Graffiti.
Yo, what's good, fam?
Nothing much. I'm just chilling here, man. How you doing? Anyway, let's continue going here. We got about 2.5 minutes left. Let's see if we can get some more callers here. 513-453-9903 is the number to call. Who else do we got here? We got John Rawson, Radio Graffiti.
Hey, Ghost, I was just waiting for the after show, but nice broadcast.
Okay. No problem. Everybody's waiting for the after show, baby. Who else do we got? We got Jimmy Kudos, Radio Graffiti. Jesus Christ. Jimmy Kudos. Come on, man. All right, come on. We're going to take a couple more callers here, and then we're going to go ahead and transition to the second half of the show. Brony Drumming, Radio Graffiti. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm telling you, I'm sick and tired of you remixing me with, these Fruit Bowl music, the Fruit Bowl songs out here. All right, I have had about enough of it. Anyway, folks, we're going to go ahead and we're going to transition. We got about a minute and a half left. All right, I'm going to do a little bit of post-show commentary, folks, and the only way that you're going to be able to listen to it is if you give it a call. 516-453-9903 is the number to call here. And, of course, if you don't get through, you can download the podcast to hear what we talked about post-show here at blogtalkradio.com/ghost. That's blogtalkradio.com/ghost, all right? And if you haven't already done so, please follow me on Twitter, folks. Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores, all right? Politics Ghost is the name to follow. All right, and if you ain't doing it, well, get yourself a goddamn account to do it, all right? Do whatever it takes, all right? Get to know when I'm going to do a spontaneous show on the weekend. I mean, be the first to know, baby. All right, be the first to know. So once again, Politics Ghost is the name to follow. Call right now, 516-453-9903 if you want to hear the post-show, baby, all right? Right now. Call right now before the damn show's over. All right, call right now, for Christ's sake. Anyway, Politics Ghost is the Twitter name to follow. Follow it, baby. What are you doing? Follow it right now. All right, anyway, same place, same time tomorrow. Long live the capitalist army, baby.
That isn't just the sound of the all-new 2016 Mercedes-Benz GLC being put through its paces. It's the sound of innovation. The innovation behind one of the most advanced SUVs on the road today. With multiple driving modes, a suite of intelligent drive systems, and a technology-filled cabin that sets new standards in modern luxury. This is what innovation sounds like. Now, discover what it feels like in a 2016 Mercedes-Benz GLC.
Some equipment described as optional.
All right, now we are off the air, folks. Everything from now on can be only exclusively listened to by those that are listening to the broadcast via the phone. And, of course, those that are listening in right now via the podcast, and I want to thank you for tuning in with me. We're going to get to Radio Graffiti in a little bit, folks. But once again, I definitely want to talk a little bit about this economy a little bit more. It's very serious. I want to strongly advise people to start taking the proper precautions to try to invest wisely. As I've alluded to ever since I started this show, I was telling everybody to entertain exchange-traded funds, better known as ETFs, in correspondence with the rise of oil, in correspondence with the rise of gold, and in correspondence with the rise of silver. If you would have entertained this particular financial instrument, folks, you would be profiting generously here within the past 4 weeks that I've been on the air. All right, folks? And look, it's not an accident, it's not a coincidence that I know these things, folks. I'm a capitalist, all right? I mean, the only way that you're going to be able to sustain your own means of life, the only way that you're going to sustain your own lifestyle is if you do it, all right? I mean, why do you think Warren Buffett, all right, this guy's, close to 80 years old, if not 80? This son of a bitch still works 10, 12 hours a day, all right? Still up, still making deals. Why? Because the only way that he can sustain whatever lifestyle that man has is if he continues working. I mean, you see, that's the biggest misconception of everybody in capitalism. You know, people believe that people that are rich today are always going to be rich. I mean, do you understand that that is not the case? All right? The tax records show this. I mean, I think Thomas Sowell, an economist, did a study on this, and that those that were in the top 1% that the social justice warriors like to quote as being the evildoers of our society. In 1996, those that were in the top 1% of the tax bracket more than 60% of those people, if not 70, close to 70% of those people, were not part of the 1% by 2005, all right? Or 2006. I mean, do you get it? I mean, that 10-year span shows that you can be rich today and you can be financially well off. You could be part of the 1% this year, and within 10 years, you can no longer be a part of it. And you see, that's the biggest misconception of everybody in the Western society, the big score, the idea of the big score, that they're going to hit this huge amount of money. You know, that some business is going to give it to them, or a lottery is going to give them this huge amount of money that's going to sustain them with unlimited wealth for the rest of their lives. And that's the biggest misconception with everybody, folks, because there is no such thing, all right? You're always going to have to work one way or the other. You're always going to have to think. You're always going to have to wake up in the morning and realize, hey, I got to make some more money today. All right, I mean, I got to maintain my lifestyle. And I always suggest to folks that are listening in never to exceed their lifestyle. And what I mean by that is don't spend more than you're worth. Don't act like you're more than you're worth. Because when you can no longer financially sustain that image, you can no longer financially sustain that lifestyle, the first people that are going to be the ones pointing at you and laughing at you are the ones that you thought were your friends or your associates, or hell, even your family. That's what family's for, boy. I'm serious, all right? Never spend more money, never live lavish more than you're worth. All right? And the only way that you should move yourself up in the lifestyle is if you can afford it. All right, if you can make money and you know it. Once again, I want to reiterate that Thomas Sowell study that proved that in 1996, based on tax returns and taxes, that the people that were a part of the 1% in 1996, almost 70% of them were no longer a part of the 1% by 2006. I mean, do you understand this? All right? I mean, wealth is a revolving door in America and in Western society. And people need to understand, as capitalists, you've got to always stay on top. There is no self-sustaining big score. There is no score that you're going to get, and it's going to give you an unlimited amount of money. You always got to think about how you're going to make more of it. Because, let's be honest, money makes the world go round, folks. And as I stated yesterday, it doesn't matter what you look at, communist and socialist and capitalist, all right? The only difference between communists and socialists and capitalists is that communists and socialists believe that the bureaucrats should have the authority of spending money, that they should be the ones in charge of allocating resources. They're the ones that should be in charge of every financial decision, of everything from bureaucracy to people's individual lives. And in capitalism, it's the complete opposite. All right, in capitalism, the capitalists are the ones that should be able to spend their own money. The market should dictate where the allocation of resources should be. You understand? The market will dictate where it all should be allocated, for Christ's sake, man. Markets don't lie. All right? I mean, they don't lie. They adjust with the time. They adjust with people's frame of mind, with the perception, with consumer confidence. All right? I mean, that's what these dumb bureaucrats and these supposed intellectuals that are supposed to be economists that are Keynesian don't understand. All right? So once again, folks, I strongly advise everybody who is a capitalist to understand that to be a capitalist, to carve out your own destiny, to do whatever it is that you want to do, you have to continuously generate revenue because it makes the world go round, folks. All right? Now, it isn't everything. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if you're alone inside, if you don't have a significant other to enjoy the benefits of your labor, if you don't have close friends, I mean, literally, if it's just you, what's the old saying? Idle hands are the devil's playground, for Christ's sake, all right? And once again, that's what happens to a lot of single gentlemen who happen to get rich really fast, and they have no significant other, whether they're gay, homosexual, or straight, whatever. They have no significant other that knew them, that cared about them, that was friends with them prior to them having money. And that's a real big problem for folks that actually get money and, that actually have capital, that they don't have any friends. They don't have any genuine people that like them before they had money. So, while you're sitting here bitching about how you're poor, while you're sitting here bitching about how you don't have capital, what you should be doing is making sure that you have people that know who you are, or at least know of you, and they have good things to say about you before you have a lot of capital. Because at least then you'll know who your real friends are. Because after you have money, everybody's going to give you the big smile. All right? When you have capital, everybody's going to give you the big smile. Everybody's going to be polite to you. I mean, all your family's going to come to you like they loved you the whole time. They're going to tell you their problems. They're going to say, oh, I need help. I mean, it all is the same. And once again, folks, all right, unless somebody was there for you, unless somebody like mom or dad gave you some odd dollars because they gave you a college fund, or they left you something, left you a business, well then by God, believe me, you owe your parents. But if your parents didn't give you dick, other than, we birthed your ass and now you're supposed to be loyal to us because, we shitted you out of our uterus pipe, even though they gave you nothing but grief, didn't teach you the proper mental tools, emotional tools to deal with life, that makes you completely dependent on them. I think that you need to look at them and say, hey, wait a minute, these people don't have my best interest at hand. And always remember, folks, the only person that's going to have your best interest at hand is you. And that's why I encourage everybody that believes that they're a loser, everybody that believes that life is a dead end, that they're whatever it is that's in your mind that you believe is prohibiting you from being whatever it is that you want to be, it's you that's doing it, nobody else. I mean, you can go get a job, you can go work, you can use whatever it is that's in your mind to generate revenue. Remember, that's all it is. That's all being a capitalist is persuading a consumer to take $1 out of their pocket and give it to you for a product or service. All right? It's as simple as that. I mean, that's what a capitalist is, baby. You come up with a product or service and you go around like a politician, and instead of shaking hands and kissing babies for a vote, you're going out there and trying to get $1 out of their pocket, all right, for a product or service, for Christ's sake, man. And the more and more of those people that come out the pocket and are satisfied with your product or service, they come back to you. And when they come back to you, that's when you start getting steady income, legitimate means of entrepreneurship, and so on and so forth. Do you understand? I'm serious, all right? And if you don't have the ability to do that, because not everybody does, not everybody has the ability to go out and persuade people to, give them a buck, or not give them a buck, but trade a buck for a product or service, because that's really what it is. It's a negotiation, all right? Every time you make a transaction, you are okay with the price of whatever you're paying for, whether it's a product or service. It's as simple as that, folks, all right? And I'm serious, man. There is no big score, all right? You're always going to have to think about ways to make capital. You're always going to have to think about ways to continue to sustain whatever lifestyle you have accustomed yourself to. It's a never-ending game, baby, all right? I mean, I know that's hard for a lot of you delicate-minded idiots that want to believe that I just want to just make a big fat chunk of money and just chill. That's all I want to do. It doesn't work, all right? It's never going to happen. You're never going to make a big chunk of money and just chill. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Anyway, folks, I'm just trying to give people a heads up here, man, because I'm sick and tired of a bunch of losers online that are wasting their lives away with anime and hentai and fandom And even this gamer stuff. I mean, look, I don't have anything against games. If you're a capitalist, and you bust your ass every day, you're a father, mother, whatever, and you take care of your responsibilities, and you want to blow off steam, and you like playing games, well, by all means, play your games, all right? But a lot of those people, that's not the case. For a lot of these people, they have mommy or daddy supporting them, all right? Or they're in some position that they can just sit on their asses and play games all freaking day. All right, and the reason that I know this, you've got all these damn websites that show how long people have played games, how many freaking trophies they have on every game they played, all their accolades, for Christ's sake. I mean, and I just read these profiles, and I'm just thinking about all these hours of wasted time. All right, all these hours. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you want to blow off some steam, you want to play some games, by all means, it's your right to do so. But to think if you could utilize some of that time, effort, and energy into figuring out how you can be creative, how you can, use your abilities to be able to make yourself more capital, to make yourself a better person, make yourself more important, to own things. You know what I'm saying? To own things. I mean, that's what I want everybody who's a part of the capitalist army and anybody who's listening to this broadcast to do. You need to start owning things, making capital to own crap. I mean, don't be anesthetized with entertainment, man. Start understanding what assets are and owning assets. You understand that? Give yourself net worth. You understand? I think it was Dan Pena that said, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. And that's exactly right, folks. I mean, let me tell you, if you've been hanging around the same losers for the past 5 to 10 years, and they're losers, and you're a loser, well, maybe there's a big correlation between the fact of who you're hanging around with and your position in life at this present time. All right? I mean, I think that's unbelievably accurate. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. And that's why I always tell people, if you're going to get friends, why don't you get friends that, are going to show you something, you're going to learn something from, that are better than you in many regards. I'm serious. I mean, try to look for people that you want to emulate. Don't be around a bunch of pathetically anal losers that are going to degrade you because you do something successful in life. And I know there's a lot of you that are listening to me right now that are hanging around a bunch of loser friends that if you make the slightest accolade, they'll clown you like you're some piece of low-grade trash. I know it. Those aren't your friends. Once again, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. And if your friends are nothing but a bunch of low-grade losers, pathetically just nothings, just wastes of life, just fat, disgusting protoplasm, shameless crap, well then, by God, how can you complain about you being in the position that you're in? I mean, you're hanging around the riffraff that you're complaining that you are. And all I'm trying to do is inspire those that are capitalists out here to get up and do something. You can do this, all right? Always remember that there was great wealth brought up in the Great Depression, believe it or not. I'm not kidding. There's always methods to capitalize, no matter what the current economic situation is. The problem with our generation, or not our generation, the millennials, I should say, this generation, the problem with this generation is that these idiots have to be given like a freaking insurance, or a book, or they have to have something put in writing so that they can follow directions, for Christ's sake. I mean, that's what these people need. I mean, they don't understand that they have to take their own self-initiative and use their own creativity, read, make their own decisions, apply knowledge to be able to capitalize. All right? I mean, that's why a lot of people are begging me to continue to do kind of market analysis and so on and so forth because they didn't listen. All they know how to do is, I'm supposed to do this. Okay. They didn't listen to any of the things I was saying. They don't know how to interpret the market. They don't know how to look at the consumer confidence and all the other financial elements to make an assumption on future speculation. They didn't learn dick. And that's the problem with the millennials at this point in time. They want everything on a freaking silver platter. They want everything in directions. They don't know how to solve a problem themselves. But you see, that could be a good thing for the folks that actually have some kind of initiative that are millennials, all right? If you have the slightest bit initiative, that means you don't have much competition out here. That's right. You don't have much competition. So why don't you take the initiative? All right, why don't you stop watching your character anime and hentai, all right, put down the game controller and start enhancing your knowledge, applying your knowledge, all right, gathering skills, all right, getting the tools necessary to not only navigate life but be able to conquer life, to be able to carve out your own destiny, for Christ's sake. Man, don't just sit there. Don't waste time. Time is the precious commodity of life, and the more you waste it, the more you're just sitting there doing nothing. I mean, that's more and more time that you could have done something to fashion yourself into being a better person so that you can get whatever it is that is your dream into actual reality. Reality. But nobody's going to do it but you. Always remember that nothing is going to happen to you. You have to make things happen. All right? I mean, get that through your stupid heads. Nothing is going to happen to you. You have to go and make things happen. And once you start understanding this, folks, that you have to make things happen, the sooner you'll start realizing that, hey, I'm wasting my freaking time. What am I doing here? Let me go out and let me learn something. Let me capitalize. Let me make money, for Christ's sake. I want to live lavish. I want a badass life, for Christ's sake. I mean, why does this moron have to have a badass life and I don't? Well, there is no reason, all right? All right, there is no reason. So that's all there is to it. Anyway, folks, I know I was supposed to take radio. Let me take a couple of calls before I go. I mean, I've got some things to do, folks. Remember, I'm a capitalist, baby. All right? I mean, I got things to do out here. I got a life. I'm not like, these internet jerk dicks out here that tickle their ass cracks and, commiserate all the internet for about 15 hours a day. All right? I mean, I'm out here making capital, which you should be doing, too. And that's what I'm trying to encourage everybody to do, for Christ's sake, man. You can carve out your own destiny. The only person that's preventing you from doing so is you, moron. Is you. It doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman. It doesn't matter if you're a tranny or a homosexual or a lesbo. It doesn't matter what you are. The only person prohibiting you from being successful is you. And if you're going to blame anybody else, well, then that's the problem right there. If you're going to blame society, if you're going to blame Mammy, if you're going to blame anybody else but yourself, then that is the problem. That is the problem you need to dominate out of your mind. You need to get that thought process out of your mind and start realizing that you are in control, idiots. All right? You're in control. Nothing is going to happen to you. If you believe something is going to happen to you, well, then by default, you are not in control, morons. You're not in control. That's why I'm telling you the only person and the only entity that is going to make things happen for you is you. So get up off your fat jelly asses and do something, all right? Pull the goddamn trigger already, all right? Stop pretending. Stop pussyfooting around, for Christ's sake. You're the only one that can make your dreams happen, goddammit. Get up off your fat ass and do it. Anyway, I'll take a couple of calls here, and you will go ahead and see what's going on. Hey, what's going on, Teutonic Play? You got something to say?
Yeah, Ghost. I'd like to discuss how the leftists are trying to shove their opinions and ideas down the throats of our children and taint the next generation of Americans, the latest way they're attempting to do that. Allow me to introduce you to the gender-bred person. I tweeted you a whole article, and you can read it at your leisure, sir. But the gist of it is, they got this freaking gender-bred person, pointing, and there are arrows, saying expression and attraction and identity and sex, and they're going on and on about transgender, pansexual, this, that, and the other. And then the article goes on to explain to us that there's a video on this article, a 52-year-old transgender man who says he's a 6-year-old girl and people are buying it hook, line, and sucker. This is disgusting, man.
Yeah, well, I couldn't agree with you more, Teutonic Plague, but, I mean, there is a glimmer of hope. I don't know if you heard my speech to the trannies. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, but I was urging the transsexuals. I'm talking the true transsexuals that actually look like a woman. I'm not talking about these disgusting cross-dressers or these transvestites. These people that are just putting a freaking, dress on and they got freaking Fu Manchus and they're walking around with their disgusting man bodies in a dress. I'm not talking about these people. I am talking about these transsexuals that genuinely want to live 24 hours a day as a woman to completely disband themselves from the LGBT community. And they're actually doing it. I think there are some trans testicles that heard this broadcast because I've been hearing articles, I've been reading them. One tranny went out and burned the rainbow flag. They're trying to charge her now with hate speech. I mean, it's getting mad, for Christ's sake. And the reason that I'm saying that the transsexuals should disband themselves from the lesbian, gays, and the gender fluid queers is because I know the prime directive for the majority of trannies is not purely carnal and sexual. It has everything to do with the fact that they actually want to be the feminine quality, the feminine attribute, the bitch, for a lack of a better term, of a relationship, and they're completely okay with that. All right? I mean, their strife is completely relationship-based. It is not sexual. Most trannies don't want to be a 6-year-old girl. All right, I mean, this is a genuine crisis in my personal opinion, and I think that those that are cross-dressers or transvestites, assholes with full beards and dresses with man bodies, that is not a transsexual, and that's why the transsexuals need to disband from the lesbians and gays and start, advocating their own self-worth. And I'm glad that I'm starting to see that at this point in time. And don't get me wrong, Teutonic Plague, I know what you're talking about. You've got these this new leftist idea on trying to incept the idea of pansexuals, transsexuals, and all this other nonsense as young as 5, 6 years old in public schools. And this is all by design. This is social engineering so that these children can start talking about sexual-related topics at such a young age. And if you want my personal opinion, and this is my personal opinion, all right, I think that this is by design. I think the government actually wants our children to be sick perverts because you take a look at Dennis Hastert. And, I mean, there are numbers of different people that have been a part of this Congress that have been exposed child molesters. I actually believe that a lot of these people that are in power today are child molesters. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, just do a Google search, and I believe that these sick, twisted, child pedophile pieces of trash, I mean, hell, look at the Catholic Church. That's a pedophile cult, for Christ's sake. I believe that they are trying to utilize government and sexualize children in an attempt to make pedophile legal. I mean, I see no other motive behind this. I'm sorry. I see no other motive behind this sick-ass, twisted sexualization of children. I mean, why can't children just be innocent and go out and play hide-and-go-seek and, play tag and go fly kites? And, why should they even be entertaining sexual identities, sexual questions, sexual notions, for Christ's sake? It's sick. I'm telling you, there's some perverted, twisted motive behind all of this. And I don't get it. I mean, the bathroom crap, trying to teach young kids if there's pansexuals, transsexuals, if they want their wee-wee, if they don't. I mean, this is a perverted attempt at trying to make pedophiles legal, in my personal opinion. And I think it's sick. I think we need to stop it. I think we need to do whatever it takes to stop this sick, twisted crap. All right? I am all for protecting children, folks. I don't care. All right? I'm serious. We got to protect our children. I mean, our children are born into this world innocent. I mean, the only reason they know whatever they know is because of their parents. And, of course, our social engineering government has broken up the family for most of these children. And if it isn't that, it's school. And take a look at what school is doing, huh? Take a look at what school is doing. They're trying to teach our children if they want to be a damn pansexual or something, all right? I mean, give me a goddamn break. I mean, is there anybody else that's as sick as I am? Jesus Christ. Anyway, folks, I want to take some more callers here. We're going to try to go do some serious callers here, right? Because, I mean, you know, some of these things need to be talked about, you know. They just need to be talked about. And I know that there's some serious callers they always talk about. They want to be called on. So let's go ahead and let's see what other serious callers we got. 309, you there, sir?
How you doing, Ghost? It's Jimmy Capitalist. You hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you fine. How you doing, man?
Not a problem, man. I actually wanted to talk about, you mentioned Ken Livingstone earlier, if you don't mind, man. And I'm out here in Northern Ireland, man, and I'm show you the history of this country and in our past. Well, this Labour government, Labour opposition party we have now, their leader is a socialist scumbag, Jeremy Corbyn, and he's actually a terrorist sympathiser, man. I'm not kidding you. Back in the 80s, this guy was actually having meetings with IRA fucking captains while there was actually bombings going on members of parliament, man. I'm not kidding around.
No, believe me, I am all aware of the IRA and the struggle of the Irish people. I mean, for those folks that want to get abreast of the Irish struggle, I'd strongly advise the movie Michael Collins, which is, you know, a fairly decent representation of what happened during the Irish struggle, and it's still happening. I mean, to be honest with you, the only reason that it hasn't happened as prevalent as it used to be was because the IRA finally sobered up a little bit and decided to drop their bombs after the attacks on 9/11. But I understand wholeheartedly that the Labor Party are socialist trash. I do understand that Corbyn is just a complete and utter leftist psychopath. But my criticism was the fact that these guys being such a liberal party, the Labor Party, they're supposed to be leftist, right? I mean, why they would suspend Ken Livingstone, he's not even in office anymore, for Christ. He just belongs to the party. Ken Livingstone. Why would they suspend him over Hitler remarks that really have nothing to do with anything nefarious? He's not denying the Holocaust. He's not denying any of the atrocities. Basically, he's just stating that Hitler did have a deal with, I guess he used the term Zionist. I guess that's the reason why, you know, people got pissed off. But he did. I mean, if we go look back when Hitler took power and he took control of the means of production and tried to promote German production, the International Jewish Consortium boycotted German goods. And Germany could not afford to have its goods boycotted because the whole reason or the whole motive behind, production of Germany is to sell those German goods in the international community. I mean, that's the only way that Germany was going to get a good economy. And, he actually made a deal. It's called the Transfer Agreement. All right, look it up, Transfer Agreement. Germany, just look it up. You can find it on Google. It's up there, all right? And as I've stated, all right, and as this guy stated, I mean, Hitler did a deal with the Jews to send Jews to Palestine. I mean, he was the first guy to send them to Palestine. I'm serious, man. I mean, the Jews would not have settled in Palestine had freaking Hitler not had this transfer agreement to prohibit the international Jews from boycotting German goods. All right, now, I am not denying that Germany and Hitler took this Jewish situation to a fanaticist level. All right, I'm not denying that he felt backstabbed because they didn't stop boycotting, first of all. And secondly, the majority of the communists that were involved with the communist uprising in his country, and not only that, the Bolshevik Revolution, We're Jews, all right? I mean, I'm not trying to say that to be any kind of anti-Semitic. I'm not trying to say that to be anti-Jew. I'm not trying to say that to be anti-anything. It's the facts, all right? I mean, it's just the facts. I mean, there's nothing anti-Semitic about reviewing the factual perspective of history. And I find it rather ironic that you've got this leftist Labor Party suspending Ken Livingstone over a simple statement stating that, hey, Hitler did have an agreement with international Jews to send Jews to Palestine. I mean, that's what he said, and all of a sudden he's a goddamn Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan or something. So I don't get it, man. Anyway, thanks for the question there, man. I really appreciate it. But once again, if you want to take a look at the Irish struggle, Michael Collins is the movie, very decent movie. It'll give you a perspective of what the Irish have been having to go through since the late 1800s, early 1900s. Area code 501, what's going on, man?
Hey, Ghost. I was just curious what you think about the health insurance industry being the largest holders of agricultural land in the United States, and how they also, to some degree, are involved in what's called the dietary recommendations they set out that go to schools, and those that have recommended high-carb diets for decades, which basically been shown to boost insulin sensitivity, increase obesity, and more or less affect brain function over extended periods of time. And, of course, collusion with food distributors that more or less get subsidized by the government for public food.
Well, that's a very good question because nobody really talks about the health industry as a whole. I mean, first of all, very good points that you bring up. I definitely want to discuss that the whole health industry right now, Obamacare, was nothing more than giving the power of health to the insurance companies. Do you understand this? All right. Now, why we need health insurers to maintain our health is the biggest scam in world history. I mean, it's the biggest scam in world history. There should be no reason why we should be paying any health insurance, period. All right? I mean, it's a disgrace that we're even partaking in this scam. All right? Now, the reason why our health insurance is now ran by the healthcare industry is ran by the insurance is because our government has enforced a monopoly. And that monopoly is a federally mandated obligation for everybody in America to purchase health insurance. And you are now taxed or penalized at the end of the year if you don't have health insurance. Yeah, I'm not kidding around. You are penalized, even though Barack Obama said that you weren't going to be, even though Barack Obama said that you're going to get to keep your health insurance, whatever he said, complete lies, all right? Now, first and foremost, that is a big problem, that health insurance is dominating our health care, all right? I mean, that's just a big problem. They shouldn't even be in existence. Now, secondly, to the other part of the man's question in how the healthcare industry is in collusion with the food industry, you're absolutely right, all right? On top of not just recommending high carbohydrate diets, which not only, kind of enhances obesity, but at the same time screws up the pancreas and, does a whole bunch of other things, high carbohydrate diets. But you also have this health industry in collusion with the food industry pushing forth these manufactured chemical-based oils. And I'm talking about margarine and Crisco and these shortenings and that sort of thing. I strongly advise folks to look into the history of Crisco. Folks, it's tragic, the history of Crisco. Ever since we got rid of lards and butters out of our diet system, folks, this is what has basically caused a lot of our onset health ailments. And the reason I'm suggesting this, folks, I don't know if you folks remember back in the 50s and the 60s, they would advocate that, growing boys eat, healthy doses of red meat. Apple pie. America used to eat great. Remember, the all-American breakfast was bacon and eggs, for Christ's sake, And then we started, with this health-conscious diet. this fact that, oh, well, we got to get rid of lard, we got to get rid of butter, and we got to substitute it with this artificially chemically induced margarine and shortening and Crisco. And you see, folks, that right there is, if you take a look at the implementation of Crisco and these other saturated, artificial fats, there is a big correlation with the downgrade of health and the increase in statin drugs. Now, if you folks are unfamiliar with statin drugs, I'd strongly advise you to take a look at them. They're the first things that the doctors prescribe to you, even if your blood pressure isn't out of whack. If you get to a certain age, if you're like about 40-something years old, they want to start putting you on these blood pressure, quote-unquote, medications and these low cholesterol medications like Lipitor that are statin drugs. Now, folks, I'm going to be completely honest with you. A doctor by the name of Dr. Joel Wallach, if you have not heard about this man, and look, I'm not advertising anything about this man, but this man knows health. He took on the FDA, all right, in court about, I think, 9 times and won them all. The only guy to do such a thing. Joel Wallach, all right, basically found out through dissections of different body parts of different species why health deteriorates, and a big correlation with not only us increasing our intake of artificial fats like margarine, like Crisco, but also the increased taking of statin drugs. Statin drugs, folks, is really what is causing the epidemic of Alzheimer's disease in America today. All right, and Dr. Wallach knows it. All right, I mean, he's exposed this crap, and that's why I'm suggesting to you folks that the whole reason why we have this statin drug epidemic and we've got people with Alzheimer's and so on and so forth is the collusion, like the gentleman caller was saying earlier, the collusion of the health insurance industry with the healthcare industry with the food industry. All right? Now, what does Dr. Wallach suggest? He suggests that a stick of actual butter, not margarine, a stick of butter a day keeps the doctor away. All right? Eating about 5 or 6 eggs every day keeps the doctor away. Because guess what? 95% of brain matter is what? Cholesterol. All right? And then you've got these doctors talking about, oh, you got high cholesterol. Oh, my God. I mean, and then we wonder why, you give these old people statin drugs to lower their cholesterol, and then all of a sudden they turn into Alzheimer's disease patients. I mean, do you get the correlation? 95% of brain matter is cholesterol. All right, I'm telling you this right now, folks, all right? I mean, when our diet was rich with high butters, real butter, not margarine, real heavy creams, all right, when we were eating beef. And let me tell you another thing about health, since we're talking about health, all right? What really is causing a lot of the cancers as it relates to what people eat is burned fat. And that's what Dr. Wallach, and let me tell you, I'm a very big believer in Dr. Wallach. This guy's a very brilliant man. You should watch some of his lectures. They're online for free. Dr. Joel Wallach, all right? What he's found is that really what causes the cancer-causing type of carcinogens is burnt fat. So when, they talk about how barbecue increases your increase in cancer by so many some odd percent, it's because of that char that all of us out here in Texas and the South love about barbecue, that nice char. The problem is that when you burn fat, it releases all the bad elements in fat. All the trans fat is what they call it. That's really what it turns into. It turns regular animal fat into trans fat. And it's that trans fat that gives you the cancers, that, clogs the arteries and, does all the bad stuff to you. That's why you should always eat a steak medium rare, if not rare, okay? And there's nothing wrong with eating animal fat, folks, all right? I'm serious. If it's burnt, though, if there's any char on that son of a bitch, then don't eat it, all right? That's trans fat. It's probably one of the bad things that you could eat, for Christ's sake, all right? I'm serious, all right? Burnt fat. Now, did you know that 90% of lung cancer happens to people that don't even smoke? Oh, yeah. Did you get that? And you want to know where most lung cancer comes from? Is from inhaling all the cooking fumes from the burning fat from the goddamn pan, folks. Do you understand that? I'm serious. This is not a joke, man. Burnt fat is not good for you, all right? Any kind of deep-fried foods, even though we all love deep-fried foods, any kind of burnt fat is really bad for the body system. So, once again, I don't mean to get off on this whole tirade about health, for Christ's sake, all right? But let me tell you, I mean, burnt fat, bad for you, all right? Crisco shortening, bad for you. Margarine, bad for you. They tried to push this Mediterranean diet where, they try to tell you to have a lot of olive oil and, all these different oils to put in. I mean, and then they wonder why they're dying of heart disease, all right? Bad for you, man. You're not supposed to be just drinking massive amounts of oil, all right? I mean, the Mediterranean diet, the average person in the Mediterranean lives to be about 63, all right? And when you're gonna believe the Mediterranean diet, I'm telling you, folks, all right? Listen to Dr. Wallach. This man knows what he's talking about. The whole reason why we get sick is because we're mineral deficient, all right? And this man has done all kinds of studies. I mean, he has studied his whole life on this subject matter, all right? I mean, he even has gone as far as to go into impoverished parts of the world, like in Africa and in Kathmandu, India, and tried to study these people who lived in utter squalor and tried to understand why these people live to be 100 years old, 100-plus years old, live to be ripe old ages. And what he found is that the majority of the tribes and the majority of people that lived in mud huts and lived in very squalor conditions, no running plumbing, stuff like that, the reason that he found that these people were living long periods of time was because they would utilize the burning of wood to heat their homes and to cook their food and so on and so forth, and they would use the ashes as fertilizer for their plants and for their vegetation. And what Wallach found was the fact that ashes, when they're put over vegetation, they give those vegetables and that vegetation more nutrients than if they were just grown from regular soil. You see, that's why whenever there's a forest fire, folks, haven't you noticed that every time there's a forest fire, within like 3 or 4 years, it looks like a brand new vegetation, like nothing happened. That's because what fire does to wood, it takes out all the carbon and all the crap and leaves all the pure nutrients right there in those ashes. And if you throw ashes on any vegetation, it gives it more nutrients so that that particular vegetable is that much more healthier and ingrained with that much more minerals than something that was just grown off of the regular ground. I'm serious. I mean, this man has done a lot of research on this subject matter, folks. I've gotten myself a lot healthier listening to this man. I stopped going to the doctor. I stopped doing this crap because I'm not gonna be fooled, man. All right, I'm not going to let these people just, prescribe drugs to me that are going to give me ailments that I'm going to have other drugs prescribed, so on and so forth, all right? You know that, and I'm just going to tell you a few of these things, and you can listen to this man. This is from Dr. Joel Wallach. This is not me. You know that high blood pressure is nothing more than a calcium deficiency. You know, when you're feeling chest pains, you know what I'm saying? I mean, angina is what they call it. You're basically deficient selenium and chromium, all right? I mean, those elements are missing from your body. If you take a supplementation of selenium and chromium for about a couple of weeks, your chest pains will go away, all right? I mean, we're just mineral deficient, all right? I mean, you know that Dr. Wallach found a cure for muscular dystrophy because they understood that it's just a mineral deficiency. That's all it is. And then when he told Jerry Lewis, all right, and we told Jerry Lewis, hey, Jerry, I found the cure for muscular dystrophy. I mean, come on. Jerry Lewis confronted the very organization that he did this muscular dystrophy special every year for I don't know how many decades, when he confronted them and say, hey, look, it looks like Dr. Wallach found the cure for muscular dystrophy. They fired Jerry Lewis. This is a true story, all right? I'm not kidding around. Why do you think Jerry Lewis got fired from the Jerry Lewis Muscular Dystrophy Marathon? Because he confronted them with the cure of muscular dystrophy. I'm not kidding around, folks. Now, look, I'm not selling any of this man's crap. I'm not pushing anything. I just think that people need to get a little bit more aware and knowledgeable of how to take care of themselves, how to take care of their own health, and not to believe whatever some idiot in a white coat suggests. And moreover, before I get off on health and start closing down the broadcast, did you know that the average doctor, the average physician, only lives to be about 64 years old? Yeah, so why exactly are we listening to a profession where the average one of these sons of bitches only lives to be 64? That's why I'm saying, folks, I mean, there is a big cabal, there is a big collusion happening with all these consortiums, you know, and I believe that what we should do to help our health industry is make a law against any pharmaceutical, all right, that doesn't cure anything. Seriously, I mean, you know, we want to use government the right way. That would be something to use government for. Make it illegal for these damn pathetic pharmaceutical companies to make any drug unless it cures something, because it doesn't cure anything anymore. Aside from antibiotics, I mean, this pharmaceutical industry hasn't cured dick. It hasn't cured nothing. On the contrary, it just gives you something to offset certain ailments, but then it, you know, the side effects from offsetting those ailments, you know, come up with new ailments, which you have to take more medication to offset those ailments. It's a disgrace. It's a scam. It's pathetic. So once again, folks, I want to thank that gentleman for calling up as it relates to the health issue, folks, because this is serious business. I think everybody should start taking their own knowledge, start, you know, being in charge of their own health. You know what I'm saying? Don't let some doctor dictate to you what exactly you should do to your body, for Christ's sake. And let me tell you something about Dr. Wallach. He hasn't seen a doctor in 63 years, never taken a vaccine, all right? This guy eats 12 eggs a day, eats sticks of butter, loves steaks, loves medium rare steaks, and the son of a bitch is almost 80 years old, all right? So that should tell you something, that this man knows what he's talking about, all right? Anyway, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. I did not mean to get on this whole big soliloquy about health, but it's very important, folks. And I'm not selling any of Dr. Wallach's stuff, all right? I'm serious. He's not advertising anything on here. I just think that people need to know about this man. I mean, you don't even have to buy any of his products. Just hear his damn lectures on YouTube that are out there for free and learn about your own health. All right, seriously, learn that you need minerals, all right? You need elements to put in your body so that your body can heal itself. Remember, your body is a resilient vessel, and it can heal itself. You have to give it the proper nutrients and minerals necessary to do so. I'm serious, all right? I'm not joking. Anyway, I didn't mean to get all serious on health. I didn't mean to go on this soliloquy, all right? I'm sorry. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. Tomorrow is going to be a Baller Friday edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. We may or may not do a free format edition, and moreover, folks, we are going to bring back Capitalist Confessions, because I just think that people need to confess. So pass it around. Let everybody know that we are going to have Capitalist Confessions. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. It's going to be Capitalist Confessions tomorrow, folks, for a Baller Friday. And you know as well as I love Baller Friday, baby. It's time to celebrate the weekend, for everybody to tip their glass, every capitalist to kick back, bask in their success, bask in their weekly domination of economics, for Christ's sake. That's what Baller Friday is all about. Anyway, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. Please follow me on Twitter. Politics Ghost is the name to follow. All one word, no underscores. And, folks, please spread it around like wildfire that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. blogtalkradio.com/ghost. That's blogtalkradio.com/ghost is the official website of the True Capitalist Radio Show. Folks, we are approaching 100,000 live listeners. We are approaching that amount. I'm not joking around. All right? Now, I would like for you all to please spread it around all over the internet and throughout the world, and let everybody know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. Because, man, if we make it to 100,000 live listeners, and if we can keep that 100,000 mark for at least a week, I think that's probably, in my personal opinion, because I sure as hell don't know podcast or live broadcast on the internet that hold 100,000 live listeners on a consistent basis. But I think that's got to be some serious business as far as I'm concerned. I could be wrong. I know you've got fruity-ass Pootie Pie, but I don't really consider Pootie Pie a legitimate, broadcaster. I don't consider him legitimate content. I think he's just a little fruity-ass bastard that's got a whole bunch of 11 and 12-year-olds following him. And really, how much money can an advertiser what kind of content is that, basically, all right? I'm serious. I can't believe YouTube is even falling hook, line, and sinker with this idiot Pootie Pie. It's ridiculous. He's a moron. He's a fruity-ass bastard. He's talentless, for Christ's sake. But anyway, please, spread it around like wildfire that we are in effect in the house. We're trying to get to 100,000 live listeners, baby, and we need your help, all right? blogtalkradio.com/ghost. And, of course, if you haven't already done so, Politics Ghost is the name on Twitter to follow, folks. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me, for Christ's sake, man. I cannot wait for Baller Friday tomorrow. It should be a good time. Like I said, it's going to be Capitalist Confessions. It's going to be a free-format edition. I'm going to be taking your calls. All right, we're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about tomorrow. I'm excited. I hope you're excited, too. Let everybody know, same place, same time tomorrow. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in with me. Long live the capitalist army, and death to feminism, death to socialism, and death to totalitarianism. I'm out of here.
Geico presents sharing versus oversharing. Today, Bridget Griffin shared a video of her daily yoga routine, 2 self-help articles, and her new blog called Build Your Inner Bridge with Bridge. Girl, your sharing has turned into oversharing. No worries, Bridge. Geico has some info worth sharing with your 7 blog followers, like how you could save money on your car insurance, update your policy, and report a claim just by visiting geico.com. How's that for building your inner bridge? Bridge, Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.